I come in here today. That sound you heard of an exhale was Stugotz's. I come in here today and I see, we're on. I see Andrew Hawkins and I say to him by way of hello, because I haven't seen him in a while.
It's been a while.
What do you have that's interesting to you these days? And he is totally silent for a while, and I move on with my morning, and there's just silence there. And then, I don't know, 6 minutes later, he shouts across the room, "It's the year of the American white."
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. He's right.
Yep. That's not wrong. And it took me a while to verbalize that in sports. That's a thing for me, especially in front of Stugotz. When I said that, confetti fell from the ceiling. I don't even know how the hell he had it on cue.
Right.
But sure enough, as soon as I said it, just fireworks.
Do you care to elaborate? I mean, it seems obvious.
I mean, look, it seems obvious because it is, okay? And I tried to deny it for a while, but Mac McClung being the 3-time NBA All-Star Slam Dunk champion was a thing. And when he first started jumping over things, I'm like, all right, this will fade out. Somebody will catch up at some point.
This was years ago, you were saying.
This is years ago. And I remember, actually, I think the first appearance that I made on this show, I introduced everybody to a man named Riley Moss, who was a cornerback at the time for Iowa. And I'm like, hey, buckle up. White cornerbacks are coming. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? And I had seen him play against my nephew. And fast forward to here we are. We got Cooper DeJean. We got Riley Moss, right? You got Cooper. You got Riley. You never have Riley Cooper. Let me be very clear on that. That's you don't go there. Riley's good. Cooper's good. No Riley Cooper.
Okay, yes.
Obviously, the Caitlin Clark taking over women's basketball.
Yep.
Right? Cooper Cup. Cooper is like Cooper Flag. There's a lot of Coopers. Cooper is like the white Jalen right now.
It's the year it's the year of the Cooper, really.
It's
A couple years ago under Chip Kelly, there was a moment.
Yeah, that's what exactly. We don't go that one. Again.
Remember what a big deal that seemed like?
Yeah, that was a huge deal back then. But again, you can go Riley, you can go Cooper, you can't go Riley Cooper. That is the rule. So yeah, it's if I would have told you, okay, coming into this season, there's going to be an NFL wide receiver who gets shot in the chest and then plays the next day because he was trying to get robbed for his chain. You wouldn't have thought of a white guy, Mike. That would not be
1,000 guesses.
It took a couple weeks.
1,000 guesses.
It took a couple weeks.
You wouldn't have got there, but there's an
Which
evolution
city did it happen in?
There's an evolution happening in American sports.
Who's the leadership in the city?
I have a number of different questions that I want to ask you, but when it comes to playing word association with a person, Riley Cooper, there's one thing you associate with him. It's not football player. It's not career. Like the one thing, when I hear that name, all I think about, like the first thing that floods to me is this guy was in the middle of using the N-word at a country concert.
Yeah, I think Kenny Chesney. That's usually the word association that I do. Riley Cooper, Kenny Chesney.
I associate him with only that thing.
He was a part of that whole Gators team, which is really funny in retrospect.
Again, we can.
I don't think about that though.
We can do a whole resume if you want. I know there are other things on the resume.
Well,
I'm
the
just
Gator
saying.
team was funny.
The Gator thing is funny because that's his piece of the equation. Of all the different Gators players that got into trouble, his was saying the N-word at a Kenny Chesney party.
All right, let's get started.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Stugotz, I am curious if you had any sort of emotional or visceral reaction to the New York Jets on their account, thanking Aaron Rodgers for all of the memories, for everything you've given us.
Name one.
The past 2 years. Thank you. Number 8, you say the memory. The only memory I have is him getting injured after carrying the American flag on the field. Like, is there another memory of his Jets career? 2 years of the tenure, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. The Jets swallow him. I didn't think he deserved this goodbye. Did he deserve this goodbye from the New York Jets?
He did not. There are 2 memories. It's him carrying the American flag, as you pointed out, and then him 4 plays later tearing his Achilles. That's about it. Thank you for nothing. I mean,
how does this work? What is the other memory you guys have on 2 years of Aaron Rodgers, and how do Jets fans feel about the entirety of the experience? Is it the end of Brett Favre's career with the Jets? Like what?
Oh, Brett Favre gave us something.
Yeah, Brett almost made the playoffs.
Almost made the playoffs.
A worse scandal. He gave you that too.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, for 9 weeks,
Fair
though,
enough.
for 9 weeks with Brett Favre, the Jets were the best team in the NFL. It was the best Jet team of all time for 9 weeks. I mean,
He left it out there. Yeah, it was 4 plays, but you can't deny he left his Achilles on the field for that franchise.
I thought you were talking about Brett.
Yeah, me too.
He also
he left it out there, all right.
He really did. He did. I mean, it's true. Put it back up there again, because I really do just want to look at this for a second. And
I thought we were still talking about Brett Favre. I was like, don't put that back up there. What?
The Jets put up thank you, and for everything you've given us the past 2 years, thank you, number 8. And my question is, what did he give them the last 2 years? I'm asking the question seriously.
Nothing.
What?
I'm answering it seriously.
Popularity?
No.
The Jets have never been a part of the national conversation as often as they were in their franchise history.
Yeah, but for the
that
wrong
at
reasons.
least goes to the bottom line, though.
No, I know, but we've always been like a team that everyone's made fun of, and this kind of ratcheted that up because you got an MVP quarterback, the greatest quarterback, I would say, in franchise history, right? And in 4 plays, that's over. That whole dream is over.
What about hope? Does hope mean nothing to you? You had so much hope.
I have hope
You
every
woke
August.
up today.
I mean,
You woke up in those mornings feeling like you had a chance, no?
That one morning, yes.
Hope and sales at the beginning he was good for. Hope and sales, that can't be disputed. Like,
there you go.
He was good for business at the beginning, but then you're theorizing that the rest of what he gives is just attention to the Jets, but it's not good attention, and then it becomes Chris Cody's theory of, in the modern age, all attention is good attention. It doesn't even matter whether it is good or bad. You just make yourself more famous, and that's the currency of the day.
That's not wrong. It's not a wrong take. And maybe I'm a little biased because the Browns gave me a beautiful thank you when I left after losing many a games, never seeing a playoff. But you talking about the love that they shouted me out with after I left that organization. And I'm no Aaron Rodgers, so I'm like,
Are you trying to convince me that I'm going to miss Aaron Rodgers?
I think you will.
Is that what you're doing?
I
won't.
I'm not sure, actually. Like, what are they going to do at quarterback? And Andrew Hawkins at least got his big goodbye from the Browns because he represents one of the great things in sports that everyone can embrace, which is the underdog. Aaron Rodgers was not that. He's not the gritty underdog.
Hawkins was also good for the Browns, whereas Aaron wasn't good for the Jets.
Yes.
Well,
right. How often did you skip training camp to go to Egypt or whatever?
It was only that 1 year, Jessica. No, I never skipped training camp. No, I was a show up guy for sure. When you're under 5'8", you kind of have to show up for everything.
Well, but it wasn't on the Browns that you decided.
You don't really have a choice.
On the Browns, it wasn't where you said on the sidelines, "I will not punt return during an exhibition."
No, that was the Cincinnati Bengals, and they also gave me a beautiful goodbye when I left their organization.
Yeah, and then there was that one time where he was at training camp, and he's like, "I don't feel like doing this anymore." Tom Brady, Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So maybe I am a little more Aaron Rodgers than it looks like on the surface. Okay, which plays into my point. It's okay to thank him for coming to because he had to move a lot of mountains to go to the Jets.
Right.
He had other places he could have gone at that time. This was the place that he chose. It didn't work out. It's okay to break up amicably and say, hey, no hard feelings. Thank you for the times that we had, Stugotz.
I can have hard feelings. I can.
Okay.
We've covered this a couple of times, but I thought you were going to kill it in New England. You patterned your game after Wes Welker, and you're the quickest man alive. And I'd seen you in Cleveland. I'm like, finally, the world's going to learn how good Andrew Hawkins is going to be. He's going to become a superstar in New England. Was it just not going that way in camp? Did you not feel the same? Because I kind of felt like it was going to work out.
I felt, this is no BS, I felt as quick as I ever had in my life in the offseason with the New England Patriots. And it wasn't the work, because everyone's like, oh, you get there and it's hard. There's not like, I'm not scared of work. I'm a workaholic, actually. So, like, if I was addicted to crack, like, you're not going to scare me with crack. It's a good thing in that, right in the middle of my work addiction. The problem was it was miserable. And it was miserable for a lot of things. And it was like, man, this just doesn't feel like at all what I want to do. My knee was hurting, and I locked up for like 4 weeks that off season. And so once I got there, by like day 2, no BS, I was like, oh, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. There was no light in the building.
Well, I want to ask you about this, okay? I want to ask you about not just the Patriot way. We were having this conversation last week about I think it was Billy who said you run or no, it was Greg Cody who said I run a loose ship, and I was like, I thought everybody wanted a loose ship. I thought that would be more fun than whatever it is that the Patriots do. But the Patriots do also win and could also get tricked into thinking that the reason they won is because they did it with no lights that way. So let me play some sound here of Cam Newton talking the other day about like what loser culture is and how Cam Newton felt walking into the Carolina locker room. He's on Travis Hunter's podcast here.
How did you handle the pressure of being the top pick?
Let's put it in perspective. You're the top pick because what?
Where you play?
No. You're looking at it from a personal situation. I'm talking about from the professional situation. You're the top pick because that was the worst team in the NFL the year before. For me, I wanted to be the number 1 pick. You could potentially be the first pick, but bro, you have no way of impacting the game like a quarterback does. You can lock down the number 1 receiver. You can make impact plays on offense all you want, but it's still not like a quarterback. My issue is when I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers. Guys didn't know how to win. Guys didn't know how to prepare. It was a culture shock for me. The games don't mean a lot to a lot of people in the league like you would expect. It's just money. Not everybody has capabilities to be impact players. They're just players.
He pissed off that locker room, pissed off Steve Smith by calling him a loser.
I love Steve Smith. That's a big fan of Steve Smith. Not a guy I would want to piss off in an older time. He's mature, very mature guy now, but in his heyday.
Yeah, he broke the eye socket of teammates.
Yeah.
He's still not somebody.
He's a tough dude. I don't want to piss him off.
As long as he's alive, and maybe after, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Total respect.
When it comes to addictions, because you mentioned being addicted to crack, like when is it like an addiction, and when are you an aholic? Like, why aren't they crackaholics?
Put it on the poll, please.
Great question.
At Le Batard Show. Why aren't they crackaholics?
They're crack addicts, right?
Or
not
crackheads.
crackaholics.
They're crackheads or crack addicts. They're not crackaholics. I've never heard crackaholic.
Yeah, that's a good
The losers in the locker room,
but thank you.
When Cam Newton says that, I can imagine Steve Smith bristling, but I want to ask you about the idea of what is the right line between having joy in the workplace and having misery in the workplace because of the distance between we've got too many rules or not enough rules.
Yeah, I don't think it's there isn't a line, and I think that's the whole point. I don't know if the Chiefs, who, yes, they just lost the Super Bowl in a huge fashion, but you talk about success in a dynasty, they don't do it the same way that the New England Patriots do it. That doesn't mean that because they're having fun and they have better marketing agents that they're not still a dynasty and a culture of winning, right? And I think for me, even when it comes to New England, and I say that it was miserable for me because I was 31 years old, I had 3 children, I had been playing professional football by that time for 10 years chasing this dream, which took me from living on somebody's couch to working in a factory to all these like ridiculous things. And my goal, I'm not BSing when I say this, was literally to play 1 game. So no, I didn't come into the league thinking I was going to be a Pro Bowler. I didn't have any conception of thinking that I was going to get a second contract. I had like nothing. 1 game was all I wanted. So by 31 years old, and I'm walking down a hallway for 20 yards, me and just a coach. And when we get close, as we inch towards each other, and I'm new, and we get right beside each other, I say, hey, what's up, coach? And they look at you and just keep walking. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can't do this at this age. Maybe at 25, when I was incredibly hungry and I was just trying to prove myself, and at that,
you got your feelings hurt by that?
I didn't get my feelings hurt. It was that I didn't want to be like,
sadness and a loneliness to it.
Hey,
right? Yeah.
Hey, mother, I said, what's up? You didn't hear me?
Right.
Don't do that. I didn't want to go there because I'm new here, and because that's how I feel now, because I have children that I would rather be at home with at this time. That's why it was the wrong time.
But let me ask you this part, because we like to dismiss people who care very deeply and get to the top 1% of the top 1% as losers when they lose. I think it was Ben Axelrod who had this stat the other day. While you were there, the Browns were
Shout out to Ben Axelrod.
Were 1-31, passed on 3 MVP quarterbacks in the draft with the first pick, while going 1-31, and had their 2 best players request trades that they got from the 1-31. That's loser. That's in terms of a 2-year span, you will rarely see more loser than that in the NFL.
Yeah, but Hawk is saying his personal goal was just to play a single game. He played 74.
But I'm curious when Cam says that most of the guys in the locker room didn't care the way he did. They cared about money. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the locker room you were walking into with the Patriots, was it?
No, and I won't say that was the locker room that I was with the Browns or the Bengals either. Like, you have 53 people. Yes, everybody's motivations are going to be different. My motivation was to play one game, but I'm also a maniac when it comes to living up to expectation. So I approached every day like it was a game because I was scared to death I was going to get cut. So that is not fun. That is not fun to feel like if you make one mistake, you're going to have trouble feeding your family. And so my standard, even though it was one game was my goal, my standard never changed, whether I was with the Browns, Patriots, Bengals, or whatever. And there's other guys that I don't think it's crazy to think about, people who grew up in poverty. Yes, some people's goal is just not to be in poverty anymore, right? And it comes down to the fact, can you maintain whatever level of excellence that you got to become the 1% of the 1%? Or even if you won the genetic lottery, maybe a large majority of the guys in the NFL, it isn't work ethic. It isn't how you approach it. It is you won the genetic lottery, and because you're 6'6" and you run a 4.4 with a 42-inch vertical leap, everybody understands, well, even if you're not motivated and working hard, you're still better than the 5'7" kid from Toledo. Like, we'll still give you a shot. We have a better chance of winning with you than this guy. And so, yeah, it's not a surprise that it is a lot of luck to construct a locker room that has that right mix of guys who have the right mentality, that has the right mix of genetics as well, and also has a quarterback who aligns with where you are in that time. Most championship dynasties and teams have that going for them.
Roy, Jess, were you as surprised as I was? Because he just mentioned not being surprised. Were you guys as surprised as I was to see Billy pop up at the Daytona 500 out of nowhere with no announcement? It's not as surprising to me as Cartersville, Georgia, and Billy Gilday was that he took his whole family there unannounced. But I was surprised. Were you guys surprised?
Absolutely. Like, he probably wasn't there for the race. He had to have been there for something else, right?
No.
No, you were there for the race?
There for the race. Yeah, like, I mean, if you want to know the nuts and bolts of it, someone from NASCAR reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, Super Bowl's coming up. We'll figure this out." And then Super Bowl came and went, and we ended up, in Daytona, the Great American Race.
You went with Matt Cougler,
That's
producer of South Beach Sessions. You went with Matt Cougler. He was there. I have never seen such joy out of. What happened here? Where's the gearhead? I thought we didn't talk about. Thank you. I thought we didn't talk about Daytona 500 unless there was a gearhead. Why were you there? How were you there? It was Pitbull related, right?
Pitbull happened to be there. Demi Lovato was there the night before at a private party that we went to. So, I mean, it's a whole thing. Like, you just kind of, it's a big event. Great American Race. It's the Super Bowl of motorsports, many say, even though it's the first race. So we had to go. It's Daytona. It's a quick drive up. We drove up. We were going back and forth. I talked to Carl. I think maybe I'm going to be able to expense the place that we stayed that night so we can go cover the race the next day. And, yeah, I mean, if you invite us there and it's, reasonable and we can make it happen, we'll go cover your event.
If Pitbull's there.
Well, Pitbull being, honestly, like, I didn't know.
Because Billy was there.
I didn't know Pitbull was there when I agreed
When you
to
said
do
yes?
it. Yeah, I
Wasn't
didn't
his-
know Demi Lovato was going to
He
be
was
there.
supposed to be there
performing
last
there.
year, and then they had weather delays, and so
Yeah.
this was like a makeup date for Pitbull.
Yeah, I think last year he was supposed to perform, and then it got canceled. Not canceled, but like pushed back to the next day. And there was like, I don't know, spoiler alert. There was, well, I guess not spoiler. You could easily check in on what happened at the Daytona 500. But it rained after like 11 laps, and there was a very lengthy delay. And then they have to drive around, and they have to dry the track with special drying cars. It's a fun time. Have you ever been, Dan?
I have, and I find when you say find a cheap place to play, obviously I think outside of Biker Week, maybe it's got to be the biggest weekend in Daytona. It's got to be bigger than Biker Week, right? Like, I don't think there are cheap places or easy places to stay in Daytona during the Great American Race.
You'll find out. He's expensing it.
Yeah, we stayed in New Smyrna Beach about 35 minutes away, and then we drove over an Airbnb. Lovely place to stay. Chad, great host. If anyone has any recommendations or is looking for a place to stay in New Smyrna Beach, stay at Chad's place. It was nice.
The World Center of Racing in Daytona is really awe-inspiring in terms of a sporting venue. Like, I don't know how it comes across on TV, but having been there and seen it, it is a really huge, impressive thing. It's one of those. It's kind of like the Sphere. It has to be seen to be believed at how huge it was. I'm so happy that Billy went because I know he's a gearhead. It's not his first Daytona. He's been to Homestead.
I've been to more Daytona 500s than Super Bowls.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Bigger weekend in Daytona. Spring break, Biker Week, or Daytona 500
it's
weekend?
Daytona 500. Come on,
Of course
Dan.
it is.
I feel like we're glossing over how good of a dancer Matt Cougler was in that clip.
Yeah, Cougler was really
mean,
good.
that was-
But that's
yes.
what Pitbull
It was
does.
embarrassing, to be honest with you, because he did it the night before, and we were like at this NASCAR event with all these big NASCAR bigwigs there, and Jersey Jerry from Barstool was there too, and Cougs is just dancing up a storm like that. And it's like, can you please stop it? No one else is dancing.
But he's
at this
really
venue.
smooth with
Classic
it, though.
Cougs,
That's
yeah.
not like that's not just that's not his first rodeo. That is in the mirror, probably a lot of minutes and times logged at home to get that kind of just the shoulder symmetry to the beat. I can't hear the music, but I can hear it in my head because I'm watching it.
Because you know it's Pitbull, which, by the way, we need to talk about what a professional Pitbull is.
Oh,
Because he
yeah.
could have very easily said, I'm not doing that. In fact, he's no longer with Trackhouse Racing, but he's a professional, even though Mother Nature got in the way last year, as he famously once said, they can't, they won't, they never will. Stop the party.
All right, let's play this again so that everyone can see how wrong they were about Cougler being infectious. I want you to watch the bearded guy on the left. Watch
That's the
him.
guy I'm focused on,
He
Dan.
gets into
Yes.
it. Like, you're saying he didn't get anyone else into it, and I
Come
say
on
you're
now.
wrong. That bearded he got that bearded guy. He was a leader. Cougler was a leader, and he got everyone in there on that flat-footed shoulder dance that doesn't involve lifting your feet anywhere off of the ground. It's just flat-footed.
Yep.
Look at all these people. Look at all the lives Pitbull is touching right now. Man, he
Now I
crosses over.
I know how Cougler pulls now. I can see he's get me in the put the music on and watch me become the center of attention.
They should have played that on Saturday night on live television for 3 hours as part of the 50-year Saturday Night Live anniversary. I want to talk about that in just a second.
Transition.
And the reason I'm transitioning, I'll tell you why I'm transitioning. I'm going to give you the secret of what this transition is. Billy, you laugh, but wait until you hear why the transition made an appearance. Lewis said to me, "Hey, I've got 4 videos from Daytona," and then after 30 seconds, he's like, "None of them are good."
Whoa, wait a second. Hold on.
That's
Hold
what
on,
just
hold on.
happened.
No,
That's why
impossible.
it just happened. That's
impossible.
That's why it just happened
Impossible. I was told in my NASCAR group chat, which Billy, if you want in, let me know, that Billy had the best interview with Joey Logano anyone's ever seen.
That's what I was told. But I was told the 4 videos that we have ready are not ready to go right now, and that's why you got the transition that you did. Thank you for just leaving it out there without pointing it out to everybody.
I don't know how that's
Like,
possible.
it's just,
The
I
video's been
know.
out
So
for
tell me
days.
what I'm throwing it to, and we'll judge
have
for
no idea what
ourselves.
they have.
Okay, very good. So let's throw it to the first video that Lewis says isn't good enough without context, as Billy doesn't know what video we're throwing it to.
What a day in Daytona. Huh. Hey, yeah, yeah. Que no pare la fiesta. Don't stop the party. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Que no pare la fiesta. Don't stop the party. Electric. How many of these people do we think are here just for Pitbull? Most of them. Look at this. No one's in their seats. They're here at the stage watching Pitt. Huh. What a day. This is what NASCAR is about. This is what it's about. That's how you open a NASCAR season. Just like that. Huh, I'm home.
That video was good enough. That video was good enough.
I mean,
It
it's
was
me
decent.
singing.
It was
It's not
decent.
exactly showing off NASCAR.
Look at the access that fans have at a NASCAR race. You tried doing that at Formula One.
It
Everyone's
really is
nose
crazy.
is turned up. This is like minutes before the race starts. Minutes before the president has access to the speedway.
Dude, you were like 5 feet away from the president. Like, you can virtually do whatever you want.
You're
at
writing your
Daytona.
name on the finish line.
Oh, yeah,
You're
I did
watching
that. I wrote my
Pitbull.
name on the track. The way we opened the video, like, I was on, it was in pit row on the wall as the cars are driving by, just shooting a start to a video. And it wasn't because, like, I was a special person. I just stood there for 30 minutes so that I would have that spot.
I will tell you that I really enjoyed just moments ago hearing Lewis in my ear cringe as Stugotz whispered to Billy in the talkback. That's the way you expense it.
It is.
When that video was played at the concert, let's play another video here that Lewis has deemed not good enough.
I sent a video from Four Nations.
Well,
He
he's
was
now in control and can play a video to tank this
Well, but
whole
he was
thing.
wrong on the first one, so let's see what else we've got.
It's the 67th running of the Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. The fans, as you can see, are lining up and they're getting ready for Pitbull, who's going to be hitting the stage shortly. Bit of a sad day. Pitbull had a falling out with his race team 2 days ago, so he's no longer part of Trackhouse Racing, unfortunately. So some are saying this may be his swan song. This may be his last performance for NASCAR. Time will tell, but just very lucky that we're here for this moment in history when Pitbull is going to sing one, maybe last time at Daytona International Speedway. Sir, are you excited for Pitbull today?
I'm sorry?
Are you excited for Pitbull today?
Yeah, definitely.
Sad that he had a falling out with Trackhouse Racing.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. He seemed too emotional to speak on that. So.
2 for 2.
Good one.
That's how you do it, Billy.
Billy, were you recognized by many people there?
Nobody.
I don't see us as having much. I don't see people in NASCAR checking in on this show for our NASCAR information and NASCAR coverage.
People
no matter how hard Mike tries.
I was asked by many people, they came up to me just because they saw the camera and the microphone, like, you a YouTuber? And I'm like, kind of. It's complicated. Like, let's just say yes for now.
Let's play a third video of Billy at the Daytona 500 as Meadowlark Media tries to expand its coverage to see if we could grab some NASCAR fans.
Daytona Motor Speedway International, Daytona International Speedway, the Super Bowl of racing. Even though it's the first race, which is like weird because normally the Super Bowl is the end of the year. Not normally, it's always at the end of the year.
What's this
And
music?
then that's where they determine the champion. This is the
NASCAR.
first race of the year, but it's the
insulting.
Super Bowl of
that a
racing
banjo?
here, Daytona International Speedway. You check out the crowd here. It looks empty at the moment, but it's gonna fill up. We're expecting a big crowd today. Whether
You
I don't
don't
know
say.
if it's gonna cooperate, but we're expecting a big crowd.
Went out
today.
on a limb there.
Andrew, you're writing things down here? You're taking notes on Billy's
On how to expense.
I'm just trying to grade. Number one, how do you get things expensed at this company? That's important.
It's an
I have a
excellent
2-hour
question.
commute every morning I come here. And also, number two, just like why was this looked at as not being good enough? And I'm taking notes for each video. So,
all right, we'll come
Get
to your
ready because we're sending you to Talladega.
okay. All right. Hopefully you have security. But all right, we'll talk later.
We're going to get to your notes in a second. Were you with Demi Lovato? What were you doing there?
We were just at like a private party the night before that we were invited to for like NASCAR bigwigs at an airport hangar. And then we saw the schedule and it's like, well, Demi Lovato is performing. And we're like, really? Okay, well, now we have to go. And it was cinematic. As we were walking, and we weren't on the list, which, was a whole thing. And then we had to figure out how we were on the list, who we had to go through. It was a whole thing. But as we were walking in, Demi's hitting the stage and Confident just starts playing. And then we were like watching, and we're like, oh, we can get a little bit closer. Like, we can get a little bit closer. And then it got to a point where like, this is close enough. Yeah. Like you can literally like just walk up and be hanging out on the stage because it was like such a private party and everyone was just like talking their NASCAR in the back, and we were just there for Demi. And like we were probably 15 feet away from the stage just because we didn't want to get any closer and make it awkward.
Let's see some of that video and see if Billy went 4 for 4 over Lewis's objections.
Is this an IG story? What is this? This is not.
Oh, more
there he
Cougler
is.
dancing. More Cougler dancing, and now Lewis is worried we're going to get flagged by.
Oh yeah, this video is not going to be on YouTube anymore because of that. I don't know why we aired that.
Why'd you do that?
I will tell you
Good
this.
job, everybody.
We had
Lewis tried to tell you.
You saw Thomas there. Thomas, like it was the weirdest thing. Demi Lovato in the middle of the concert pointed at Thomas and said, "I love this guy. I love his energy," and then went back and continued singing because he was dancing, and she'd say things like, "You guys may know this song," and then he'd scream out, and then you could see how close we were. He'd scream out, "We know all of them,
Yeah,
Demi!"
he's beaming. He is totally radiant. Look at him.
Yeah.
That right there, you just caught him. That's the happiest he has ever been right there, just staring at that songbird in the middle of the NASCAR airplane hangar.
What a performer, by the way, Demi Lovato live. Like we thought because this is like a corporate event, like maybe we'd be mailing it in and like just be like going through the motions, lip syncing potentially. No.
Did she do Heart Attack?
Oh, of course she did a heart
That's
attack.
tough live.
She did a heart attack. She was. Look at that. That was us when we
Is
decided.
she
You know
playing
what,
right
we're
now,
gonna,
posing for your
Yeah,
photo?
that was in the middle of a song. She came up. We got right up at the
guys
stage.
really
She
had
posed in the
private
middle.
access.
Yeah,
This
it was
is the
pretty
biggest
great.
crew anyone's ever had for an event.
Yeah.
This is amazing content.
Where's the Logano interview? Where's the greatest Joey Logano
I was
interview
told
that
that
has
we
ever
wait a
been
minute.
done?
How wrong
People
is
were calling us the Demi Lovato Bros.
how wrong was Lewis here? I've got a beaming Andrew Hawkins here.
This is incredible. First off, this is the most I've ever watched any coverage of the Daytona 500. I'll be honest. Never.
We
even
haven't seen a car yet.
I'm being told the Logano interview is a YouTube exclusive.
What?
I'm just going to watch that on YouTube. Thanks.
Why was this the best interview? Logano is a famously not great interview, right?
Logano's he's got a sparkling media career. I don't know how well he's going to handle like Billy interviewing him, but
It was quick. It was like a quick walk and talk. I think we asked maybe like 3 questions, and I will say, not to betray anyone, but like afterwards, his people were like, "What the hell was that?"
So Logano's the Cup Series champion, reigning Cup Series
Yeah.
champion, controversial Cup Series champion from last year. But I think from what I've heard, Billy was a little confused as to what type of champion he
I was
was.
given bad information right before.
He's like, "Hey, you think you're gonna go back to back here?" And he's like, "What do you mean here?" He's like, "Yeah, back to back here."
And I was like, we're gonna go back to back, and he goes back to back, and then he paused. He goes,
Cup.
championship at the end of the year. I was like, yeah. And that was pretty much it.
He
then I
didn't
asked
win
him
the
how he's
Daytona
feeling,
500.
how's
He
the
bailed you
weather,
out?
yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
He didn't win the Daytona 500 last year. He certainly didn't win it this year.
Well, that's because the 3 guys we spoke to crashed into each other and all eliminated each
another
other
way.
from the
You
race.
jinxed him.
It's all very random. Although William Byron wins for a second consecutive year. How about that? The 24 car.
I just feel like we should have opened with these videos, with this conversation. This has been my favorite part of the show. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I think Mike has some video of a wreck that he has wanted to show. For a
Oh,
couple
the
of
Ryan
days.
Priest thing? Did you guys see that? So, like, these, I don't know if we have that. I'll give videos some time, but either way, like these next gen cars, you'll see sometimes when they're getting real close to one another, the flaps will go up, and that's to keep these cars grounded because it's been an issue at NASCAR, especially at super speedways because they travel so much faster. Cars getting airborne. There have been really gnarly wrecks over at Daytona 500, going up into the barriers, putting the lives of people in the crowd in danger. So everyone wants to keep these cars on the ground. In fact, Ryan Priest last year had a nasty wreck in which it forced Daytona to chop up some of the grass that they have over there in the infield and pave it because the grass also helped make this car go airborne. But here's Ryan Priest, the 60 car,
It's terrifying.
goes airborne for the 2nd straight year at Daytona. And it was horrific to watch live. It's amazing these guys just get up and walk away. When you juxtapose that from what happened 24 years ago with Dale Earnhardt, which looks rather innocuous compared to that, and we lost Dale, that's just crazy.
I've seen tires come off of those cars, and I just get terrified at the idea of if that hit a person, if somehow the safety measures and the protective nettings weren't good enough, like that would kill several people, just a tire flying into the crowd.
How many sets of tires do you think they use at Daytona International Speedway for the Daytona 500? If you were to guess, a betting man, how many sets of tires?
4 sets of tires.
Good guess. Dan?
I'm going to say 1,000 sets of tires.
Well, I meant per car, like per car.
1,000 per
Okay,
car,
well,
so
it's a lot of
somewhere
pitting,
between
yeah.
4 and
No.
1,000.
All right, Hawk?
I thought you just asked how many tires, and so I was counting all the
How many
cars.
sets?
all
Sets.
the
Sets.
Sets of tires. A
Yeah.
set is 4.
These
Yes.
cars have 4 tires, yeah.
I would say 20.
20, okay. For this race, they only use 7 sets of tires. How much do you guys think each set of tires costs?
Oh,
Just
they've
to
got to
guess.
be
I just bought
thousands
some
of
tires.
dollars. No,
Yeah.
they've got to
Like
be
$400
more.
a set.
A set, okay.
I think if you get the premium, like I paid like $800 or something like that for my set.
Okay.
One of the most amazing things I have ever seen my father do, before I knew what Hialeah was here in South Florida, was back when he ruled Hialeah. He took me through a labyrinth of alleys and places. A door opened, and they sold me a spare tire for $10.
Well,
$10.
Is that your guess?
yeah, $10 your guess
Yes.
for the set. Remember, it's 4 the set.
Okay, so $40 is
Yeah.
my guess.
Now, $2,800 for the set of 4 tires.
Well, those ones aren't stolen, so that's why.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the difference between what
good
you
deal.
get.
Have any of you ever bought something from someone either roaming around South Florida in a van filled with electronics equipment, or bought something at a gas station from somebody who's just hustling, selling some independent stolen things? Have any of you ever purchased from one of the vans in South Florida that pulls up next to you and says, "Would you like to buy X
No.
cheap?"
Typically, if a van pulls up next to me, I try to avoid it.
I sprint away.
Yeah. Nothing good happens if a van
good
pulls
rule
up
of
next
thumb.
to
But you guys have all had this happen to you, correct?
No.
But usually it's,
Van, like the specificity of the van is what's throwing me off.
Right.
You got to have a lot of room for the electronic
I
equipment.
think I told you I had a guy pull up to me like in a van in a Home Depot parking lot. Like I was walking out, I had bought like a planter, and he's like, hey, you need a home sound system? Like I have a surround sound, all these speakers. He's like opening it up, and I'm like, where is this going? Like I'm very confused by this interaction. He's like, oh, like I'm a contractor, and we ordered too many for this project that I'm on. So normally,
Likely story.
Normally this is like a $7,000 sound system, but I could probably give it to you for like 3. And I'm like, does this man think that I'm just walking around with $3,000 to give him for a sound system in the event that someone came up to me with a van like full of electronic? It was the strange thing. I'm like, no, I have a small house. That's what I just kept telling. Like, no, I have a small house. Like, no, this is good for any house. I'm like, no, it's I have kids. It's gonna be too loud. Like, I can't make this work. Thank you though. Maybe next time. I think I hit him with a maybe next time.
Was it before or after he saw you hanging out with Demi Lovato?
Oh, this is way before. He didn't know I was a Lovato bro at the time.
I was going to say, maybe that's why he thought you had $3K just in a back pocket.
Well, the idea that you would have any cash has had to be years ago because no one's carrying cash, but $3,000 in cash, certainly. I like the idea of the van pulling up with a credit card machine. Like
I can tell you this. You don't need cash or a credit card machine when you have Venmo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to do. Boom, boom. Venmo also sponsors our fine bucket. I don't know if you knew that, Dan, Hawk. Sometimes, we'll get fines for doing things sponsored by Venmo. Incredible.
Well done.
Hawk, what are your notes here on all of Billy's videos and his coverage for Daytona 500 that involved 4 other people and the first dancing Cougler I've ever seen?
The 3 people, first of all, I will tell you this. That trip, you don't need to know the budgets for these things. That trip was like maybe $700 for 4 people to go to Daytona 500. It was like next to nothing that we paid. It was like like a discount. I should be upcharging and put a premium on that. You know what I mean? Maybe put in some gas miles or something. But we needed to have someone for the social clips to get out there. We got those clips out, boom, right like that, boom, 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 boom. Not to say that we didn't see anything from All-Star Weekend, but boom, we got some NASCAR clips out almost immediately, boom, boom, boom.
We didn't, and haven't
we got
seen
some.
very much
We got
from
some other
All-Star
videos
Weekend.
out there, like
throw
boom,
that
boom,
in.
boom.
Yeah, we
These
got
things-
8
just
people
flying
at the
these
All-Star
things out.
game. I'm sure we'll get it by next All-Star
Lightning.
game. Let's play some video here. One more video of Billy at
Bonus.
Daytona 500.
I think I'm home. Hello, sir. How are you? Who do we like today? Who are we liking today?
Briscoe. Chase Briscoe, please.
Really?
Yes.
You think that today's the day for Chase?
Sure hoping so. Hope we can get the race in.
Hoping it's a lead Briscoe today, you know what I mean?
Yes, all the way. Lead Briscoe. Thank you so much, sir. Is he the name on your hat?
It's the number 9 car coming through here, Taylor. Be careful. Careful. It's a good-looking car. Are we number 9, guys? Is that Chase Elliott? It's something Elliott. We're Elliott, guys, I think. Here we go. The 48 car. A historic number in NASCAR, 48. Bowman's driving it today. I think we might be Bowmen today here. Supporting the 48. You know what I mean?
Billy?
I like it. I like how we're looking so far. Good day.
I am willing to authorize right now budget for you to be the correspondent at events where you have no expertise and just
no expertise.
Just wandering around.
I was in the trailers.
You got the names
to Noah
right.
Gragson. Yeah.
You got Bowman right.
I think it's
You got the historic
Gregson.
number 49, 48, whatever it
I
was.
mean, Bowman
Jimmy
and
Johnson. Come on, everybody
If
knows
you
that.
guess Elliott, you have a good chance of being right.
Yeah.
Correct?
I mean, I saw his name on the car. It's over the window.
Sherman. I mean, he is the son of Bill Elliott.
I
can't confirm or deny that. I don't know. This is a trick.
Awesome Bill from Dawsonville.
It's easy to see why Billy has his own day, because this is not only.
I heard that you were shitting on that.
I was
I'm gonna tell you. Word
were
got to me that you were really poo-pooing that
I
situation.
was not poo-pooing the situation. I was not. That was not the sentiment.
I heard you said no big deal or something along those lines. I've had many a day.
No, they discredited my day because I didn't have an official seal on the declaration, but I did have a seal. And then they put up a picture of the music artist seal because he was black. And
This
so
is
it was
what they
just
do.
it was a
This is
it
what
was
they
a
do.
whole thing, Billy.
This is what they try to divide us. This is what they
Exactly.
do.
I just want you to know, not only am I proud of your day.
Thank you.
Those
I'm proud of your
were
day.
the 5 best content clips that this show has to offer.
Wow.
Okay? And
Look
the
at
reason
us.
why, and I gave some notes. Number 1, they could have cut that one down by about 61%.
Yeah, some of them were long.
You know?
A little long.
That was a little long. Number 2, they could have cut right to the interview of the guy when you said, "Are you excited to see Pitbull?" He says, "Yes, that's great content." Number 3 was kind of an opening. That should have led all the videos because no one's in the stands yet, so it kind of gives you a little bit of a build-up.
But you got to see the opening to the video package on YouTube. Oh, what! It's
Okay,
an
I'm going to watch
electric
it. Trust
opening.
me, I'm locked in. Number 4, we could have cut right to Cougs dancing at the concert. Like anytime he's dancing, you got to put him in there. I'm telling you, you just got to trust me on this. I know content. I'm not just some guy. And then number 5.
Those are cutoff shorts, by the way. You can't see it here. It almost looked like a onesie. Those shorts, same exact print, like mid-thigh at
I
best.
want you to watch the neck work at the end of this video. Just let it get to the net. It gets cut off here, but that right there is where I was like, oh no, this isn't a fluke.
He's a confident dancer.
You could see it. You can't hide that.
Put it on the poll, please.
5 was perfect.
At Le Batard Show, can you be a confident dancer if you are so flat-footed that it seems your feet are made of cement?
Kyler's feeling shit, upsets in Green Bay and in Tennessee. There's just no way Prescott's going to the ground. He slid 1 second too late, and they don't have a timeout. Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Arrowhead, become personal playgrounds. Too much time, 13 ticks. Holy shit, he's gonna do it all again, It's time for the playoffs, so grab a beer. I hope it's Miller Lite. It's time for the playoffs, It's time for the good stuff, where every game comes down to guys who kick. It's time for the playoffs, The playoffs sometimes mean having to say goodbye, even if you're not ready. Careers wind to an end, mantles taken, last chapter's written. But stars emerge, to write new, exciting stories. For every door that closes, a new one opens. For every immunized quarterback that falls short, there's a young hotshot ready to take his place. There's nothing quite like playoffs. The playoffs. Heavy is the head, then where's the crowd? I'm talking about the greatest of all time. He can turn it around in just one play. You can watch it all happen in the playoffs. The playoffs, it's the playoffs. Never is afraid. I see his face. The chosen. I'm talking about Evan McPherson. It's time for the playoffs. It's the playoffs, the playoffs, it's the playoffs.
Evan McPherson? The GOAT? He's a kicker. I mean, Tom Brady's bed's still warm. Tom Brady just left.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. He's beautiful in every way. It's out of control.
He throws the ball most accurately and won 7 rings.
So good at backing. He's meant to our decade teams.
A 6th-round draft pick with a chip on his shoulder and a dimple on his chin.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. He broke so many records and reached unattainable goals.
I said he was done 10 years ago when he shoved it down my throat.
He played the Jets twice a year and always ripped out their souls.
And just like that, he left us all wanting more. He's a certified GOAT.
You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all.
The greatest of all time.
You're the greatest
The greatest of all time.
Huzzah! After an incredible season, the big game is finally here.
Ugh, have fun. I don't even care who's in the big game, unless it's my Steelers.
Come on, Jess. A game they call Super and a town they call Tinsel await. Which oversized behemoths will control the trenches? Which variety of barley wheat lager will woo the consumer? Which 90s rapper will solicit the most yearning nostalgia? There's oh so much to decide.
A game so big, one can only dream of the brightest light shining on your team. But if my team's not there, why even go? There's no one to cheer on, I don't get the show. Oh, tell me, you got the reasons. You got the reasons. Take me there. Take me there. Just take me there.
The Super Bowl, 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 the Super Bowl.
I hope you're starting to see the light. Regardless of who's in it, it's a spectacle.
I think I'm starting to come around. Like, for instance,
Everybody wagering on a team. Chris Collinsworth sliding into your screen. I was too caught up in being a fan
Writings on the wall, what's it gonna be? You'll see Marshall Falk and Mariucci. Anything you want, everything you need, you can get it all from Dominique. Writings on the wall, what's it gonna be? You can get it all. Kyle Brandt's Hemmings.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
Going out west for the Super Bowl.
My team's not there, but I'm gonna show.
My team's also not there, but I'm gonna show.
Everybody knows it's bound to be.
Everybody knows it's bound to be
The greatest night for you and me. Come on now.
I'll spend all night out in Venice and make castles in the sand. Santa Monica's calling, but I'm here to cover the Rams. I'll stay in and avoid chateaus. If I booze, then I'm on Skid Row. Just one drink to begin, not like that's a big sin. Just one beer, then we're gonna go to the Super Bowl.
Now, Mike, you know we're here to cover the big game. It's a time to be.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is brought to you by Venmo.
Excellent enthusiasm, Roy. You brought strength and effervescence to the beginning of that segment.
Here's the situation here. I got to read the billboard, and then I got to turn your mics on. I got to do all that at the same time.
It's really hard to do all of those things at the
In
same
Roy's
time.
defense, it is a lot that you got it going on. And also, like, I felt like we did Venmo last segment. If we're going to be honest with you, like, you should have been fine.
Okay.
Sometimes
Well,
I
I
sell
didn't
them
read the
as
billboard.
bumpers. No, you did great, Roy.
Thank you.
It's hard.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank
We
you,
run
Roy.
I appreciate
a loose ship around here. You may have noticed, based on everything you just saw in the last hour, that we went to the worst of the three sporting events this weekend with 8 people, the basketball exhibition game. And I have yet to see any content from that produced by the 8 people who just went to San Francisco to party. And so, yes, the low standard around here is such that Roy doing that board is about the best that we can do around here. But a heroic effort by Billy to – these are tough media times, you know. There aren't a lot of – everyone does see what's happening with the media, right? And the content.
Here we go.
And the content industry and Hollywood collapsing and everything. Everyone does see that that's happening, yes? Or is that something that has not yet been felt?
Captain America did fine.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What happened?
Okay, so everything's fine? Everyone thinks everyone's fine?
Anthony Mackie was there at the Daytona 500. He said, "Gentlemen, start your engines." But he had like a weird cadence.
Is he a fan of the Le Batard Show?
I doubt it.
Okay.
It didn't seem like there was anyone there who's a fan of the Le Batard Show. I will tell you guys that when I walked in here, and this is what I like to assume after 20 years would be on Stugotz's computer, I just walked in, and what's on his computer is Troy Brown and Troy Brown stats. I have no idea why. I don't know where Stugotz went that first hour.
Well, I was just kind of seeing where Hawk could have gone had he stayed with New England, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Troy Brown had 117 catches one year. I mean,
That's solid. That's solid.
So you're just saying you're looking through the internet at what Hawk could have been if he was tough enough to be miserable around the Patriot way and be with the best quarterback ever for a season if he didn't want to be at home with the kids.
There were so many other dynamics going on that would have made it hard, Stu. Okay.
I know. I understand.
I'm glad we have his expertise here, though, because I was being mocked here yesterday, and I want to get the group in on this, and I want Hawkins to answer this question as the only one here, I believe, who could answer this question.
121 catches, 1,200 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Troy Brown. I mean,
How old do you think Hawk is?
I don't know.
I'm going to guess that he is 36, 37, close to 40.
Troy Brown was out of the league a number of years by the time Hawk joined the league. Like it would have been different teams that they would not have been teammates.
No.
More catches for
Well, he was
for
just
Hawk.
all he was looking at is look. Troy Brown wasn't even a receiver.
Well, no, he was a receiver.
No,
famously,
he
but
was for
played,
them, but
he
that's-
played two ways.
Well, but it wasn't. He came out as a cornerback, was he not? And then they just used him as receiver.
No,
or was
the
it
other
the
way around.
reverse?
I think it was the
okay.
reverse.
Yes.
All right. My
Which is
bad.
where I thought Stugotz was going with Googling that. I thought it was going to be a Travis Hunter comp, which I'm like, hey, that's not bad. That's not bad comp. That's pretty good for Stu.
Well,
but then it was not.
This is what I want help with, though. Okay, so the group was making fun of me, Billy, journalist that he is, and me, journalist that I'm not anymore. I made the mistake last week of reporting erroneously that Walter Payton played without socks.
Oh, yeah.
Jared Payton, his son, corrected me yesterday and said, no, it wasn't socks, it was insoles. And so the group thought to itself, haha, Dan is wrong. But I thought to myself, playing without insoles seems like something that would hurt more than playing without socks. Like it was worse than I even thought. So tell me what's right there as someone who knows what that game does to feet.
Yeah.
The idea, Walter Payton liked to feel the cleats on the bottom of his feet. And so he removed the insoles. Right. I think those protect his feet more than socks would.
Feetness.
Yeah, insoles is worse. To play with no insoles in now look, this is the 80s. So I don't know what insoles were like then, right? It could have very well been a thin piece of paper, right? Because they weren't exactly modernizing the technology of cleats at the time. But for me, it would be harder for me to play without insoles than it would be to play without socks.
It would just also hurt a great
it would
deal
hurt.
more,
and my
right?
feet hurt so much constantly at like all day. My feet hurt all the time. I have a bunion that is the size of a damn ping pong ball.
Huh.
I got
All
a guy
from
that
football.
could fix that for you.
Yeah, give me a number, man. Is he driving a white van outside?
No,
Circuit
this
City?
guy was legit. He was super tall, though.
Because I wouldn't want it from Dan's guy.
That podiatrist office that I went to like years ago to have bunion surgery, I thought, man, if they had like a rec basketball team, they would kill it. All the doctors were like 6'7". It was the strangest office I've ever been to.
Their feet hurt. Usually, the bigger the people, the more their feet hurt. So they probably have a passion for fixing people's feet.
Feet doctors are weird though, right? Like
I've never been to one. Clearly,
You know,
but I'm just
actually,
saying, like,
Billy, I found out my best friend's dating a foot doctor. The foot doctor
out.
does everything from the ankle down. The ankle surgeries are part of podiatry. I never knew that. I just thought he was like really into toes.
Oh, really? I had ankle surgery. I don't know. It wasn't a podiatrist, though. It was another.
I mean, they just explained that. To you. They just explained that, Hawk. Were you not following that?
I don't think the ankle's like
think it was
exclusive to the foot
esthetician
doctor.
that did
No.
Were you not listening when
wax
she
Getting like an
eyebrows,
ankle
or-
lift? Yeah, like what are we doing here?
You weren't listening when she
I was.
said below the podiatrist is just the foot is what she.
Well, no, she said that he also does ankles.
No, I don't think I don't think the ankle has to be that, doctor, but they do cover that as well. Is what I'm
she was saying that the podiatrist does do ankles, and I was saying mine did not. Mine was not a podiatrist who did my ankles.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are feet doctors weird? Because I think podiatry in a van would be bad. I know that South Florida, you can find a normal-looking civilian residential home where they will check your feet.
Yep.
That is something you can find in Miami. But I draw the line at the van is driving around, and we will check your feet. And I'm somebody. You guys will both not be surprised by this and be horrified by it. I'm doing a variety of different things, and I have to give blood every couple of months to get my blood tested, and I do it in the alley behind my house. Like that somebody comes over, and because I have to rush to work and get it in the right time, people would drive by and see me in the back of a van, a Suburban, actually.
Is heroin the variety of things you're doing?
And I'd be, and they would see me getting a needle to the arm with my arm wrap. That is a photograph that can be
in a van.
In a Suburban.
What are you talking about?
I like how he's getting out in front of this story. That's smart of him. I like what he just did there. He gets out in front of the photos that are clearly going to drop.
Dude, that Suburban
some point.
100% has a heat license plate.
Or black Miami, University of Miami license.
No, or
plate.
Miami-Dade, like student parking decal on it.
This whole like Jarrett Payton thing's been a setup for Dan to get ahead of the photos that are going to come out.
Yes, you guys will. You could also see me FaceTiming her son, who's a giant Dolphin fan, to do a private sports show for him because he wants to know the latest on Tua, as his mom has a needle in my arm.
What'd you tell him? I mean,
just talk to him a little bit about in general. It's a frail situation.
That's nice of you. I know how much you probably hate that.
Oh man.
How did basketball players used to play in Converse?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Every time I put on Converse, I'm like, man, these offer. Shout out to Converse if they're a sponsor of the show. Love your shoes, but horrible ankle support.
Terrible
and the idea that like the NBA players used to play in Converse and like this was a great evolution of like the shoe for them is insane.
Like the next level of athletic footwear. But that's why I'm a little bit more forgiving of players at that era and the way that they look when they move. Because I'm
Same.
like,
I always
they're
think
wearing
of this. They're wearing like
church shoes.
cardboard
So-
strapped to their feet.
Exactly. They've tied up construction paper on their feet, and they're asked to look as athletic as the guys do now.
And they're eating like the nastiest shit.
Yes, and their shorts are way too high for them to maneuver at the speed that they'll need to.
Just such a bad wedgie. It's just an
There's
unbelievably
no way that's
bad
comfortable.
wedgie.
There's no way that they put that uniform together and said, you know what? Now this is built for speed.
You could dance in it though. I learned that this weekend.
Cougler did.
I mean, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points wearing Converse.
He was a foot taller than everybody else.
I want to ask, though, about this because there is something that happens all the time in sports and in sports coverage where I believe you caring is something that is underestimated on what that costs when you talk about walking through life now with feet that hurt all the time. I think about this all the time with basketball players. Like, I can't imagine what the pain of those feet. LeBron James's feet, I don't care how much work he is getting with science and
They
medicine.
have to hurt, yes.
Like, I'm thinking that he's going to go through life and that people don't actually understand what the pain trades are to be great at what it is that you're doing. Last time I talked to Hawk, he just told such a delightful story about his greatest highlight in the NFL and how it is that he was in the open field and he was scared because it's just it's trampling herds coming from every direction, and he's in the open field and he is jittering around everyone.
Yes.
And scared. And I just don't understand. I don't think that people watching have any earthly idea what the sacrifices you guys make. None. And I say that as someone who also doesn't understand.
I hate to be the devil's advocate on something that makes me look awesome. So let me preface this by that. But yes, it is a scary thing. But I'm also weirdly wired to love that kind of stuff. I am the kind of person that believes football players are born, they're not made. And for me, that's where the confidence that I could play amongst those giants and be in that world came from. Not because I thought I was awesome. It's because it's all I wanted to do. And, like, I'm not kidding, I miss being sore on Mondays and Tuesdays. I miss the feeling of being like, yo, I cannot even walk right now because I just left it all out on the field. I miss physical contact. That's a weird thing to say, but I truly mean, like, when I play basketball once every 14 months, and I'm playing and I'm trying to be a normal civilian, and then someone will get super aggressive with me and like be like, "Oh, you're a little guy, let me bump you," and it turns me on so much. Like I get chills, and I'm like, "Oh, you just gave me the green light. I'm gonna run into you at full speed, and I don't care anything about what happens to my body." So it is a little bit like where that's just naturally who I am as a person as well.
Well, I mean no disrespect though, because but you didn't answer my question.
Oh, okay, sorry. I do that a lot. You also football.
But the reason you didn't answer it, because I don't mean to disrespect you when I say that any human being should be afraid running around in a secondary. It's a respect of what it is that you do. Any normal mortal considering consequences at your side would worry about, am I going to get blindsided by a 360-pound defensive tackle that I don't see who happens to be running 4.6 in this direction?
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. I mean, you have a particular set of skills that help protect you. But also, it's like when I was a kid and I had nothing, I would always like, how I would convince myself to do something would be like, would you do this for $1 million? We all play that game. And so, like, when I would be going through it, I'd be like, hey, this is for $1 million. And I would do this weird thing where I trick my mind into believing that eventually I would be paid $1 million for running through the Stampede unprotected.
I believe it's.
I do it for less.
I believe it's a different mentality than everyone here would have, and I think I have this right when I ask the question, "Who do you guys think among us?" Right? Because when he says he lives for some of this stuff that includes physical contact, I'm always thinking when watching sports, and Anthony Edwards will articulate, "Oh my God, do I love shit talking? Do I love going back and forth with somebody?" In our workplace, I think if everyone shit-talked each other that way, everyone would get their feelings hurt. Like that we're not built the way that Andrew Hawkins is built, where, oh, you want to compete some more? Okay, I'm going to come over the top, and anything you say isn't going to bother me, and I'm going to keep my composure. But I believe that the shit-talking on the average professional court or field is so intense that all of us would shrink from it.
Are you asking, like, if there was shit talking in this environment, or if we went and
If
were
I
playing
played in the
football
NFL,
and there
right.
was shit talking?
I'm saying that is there anyone?
Because like it'd be weird if someone just ran up and tackled Hawk just because while he's doing a show, you know, like
that, it would be weird. Yes.
Billy, you suck today, you
It
idiot.
would be more
Screw
great
you,
content
Billy.
from Billy Gilder.
Not great shit talk.
Most of us have played sports though and probably been shit talked or involved in shit talk.
Well, that's the
at some
thing about
point.
the,
And
like,
in that setting, it's like, yeah, that's part of
the
it.
regular workplace. That's what I like is an adjustment because you miss that. The cool part about shit talking is that we get to resolve it immediately. So when Jeff Teague is going to shit talk LeBron's going to dominate him, and then for 20 years Jeff could be like, yeah, I was wrong there. He was pretty good. And I have those stories too, but it's like we get to go out on the field and see exactly what the result can be, and that's the cool part. Whereas in the workplace, that's where the frustration comes in because it's all subjective.
This is probably one of the most psychotic sentences ever, but like when you're playing sports, like and you like have like a situation like where you get hit or whatever, there's nothing like the taste of blood. Like as soon as you get the taste of blood in your mouth, like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
shaking
awesome.
my head, but I completely disagree because that is lunatic behavior.
You ever get shit
You're
talked?
you're more whacked out than me, man.
You ever get shit talked, but you also know that you're bad?
Yes.
So it's just because that was me. Like when I played football briefly, and they're like, "Low man wins. You suck so much." I know.
You're trying the best I can.
I'm 6'2", playing DN. You keep saying low man wins. This guy's 5'4", and his nickname is Cheeks, and he weighs 275.
The idea that Billy loves the taste of blood in his mouth.
It's
Just a
unbelie-
little bit.
It's the most shocking thing he's ever
Right.
said.
Well, because it's not in any
the
way
right
true.
environment,
Yeah.
though.
When you
Like-
miss the pole vault thing,
No, like
Matt.
on a field, like you're like, okay, this is a good taste. At home, you're like, oh, I gotta call someone. Like this is a problem. I should be tasting blood right now.
Why are you tasting blood so much? I think that's more the concern.
I can romanticize some of the pain things in sports. I believe, was it Forrest Griffin that we were talking to that one time, the MMA fighter, and we asked him about whether or not he liked pain or not, because it seemed to be something that the warrior mentality embraced. We'll see if Roy can find that sound. But I wasn't saying shit talking in this environment. I am simply saying that I don't believe any one of us wouldn't get their feelings hurt by somebody starting shit talk on us in sports.
It depends on the insecurities.
I don't think we have any good
Yeah.
shit talkers here, is my point, that would absorb it well and then come back with greater strength. Let's hear from Forrest Griffin here as he answers my ridiculous question.
Do you like pain?
That's a silly question. No, I like ice cream. I don't like pain.
There it is. I like ice cream. I don't like pain.
I feel like you're projected. I played competitive sports my whole life, and you're just kind of brushing right past. Billy's telling you he likes the taste
I like
of
the
blood,
ta-
and
my
you're
own-
just
my
brushing
own
right
blood.
Yeah, but that's a
past
lie.
I do like shit talking too.
How dare you?
I feel like I'm good. Quick
think
on my
you'd be
feet, rebuttals
Also-
wise.
it. Dan, you shit talk the video team every day. So.
There was this famous incident of Shannon Sharpe shit talking Derek Thomas that led to Derek Thomas having like 6 unsportsmanlike calls
Well,
on him.
do you know that this is actually that you said that because that was my reporting, that story. Like I'm not
Wow.
I'm not kidding. No, I'm going to tell you. Here, I'll do it for myself. Here.
Look at me,
Roy's busy.
You were very close with Derek.
You
Thomas,
earned it.
weren't you?
Thank you.
That and the Pell Grant.
This story actually, gosh, somebody's got to find this. It was a story about sex and the Super Bowl, and I think the story, the 20th paragraph, was something about the Dallas Cowboys having that White House that they had, where they were, a bunch of the players had a secret house for parties.
Did you mention Eugene Robinson in that story?
No, that happened. No.
That happened before.
I don't know, but this particular story is me calling Derek Thomas in order to get that story about Shannon Sharpe. See if you can find the details there. Derek Thomas, and he was somebody who was considered sort of like a pillar of integrity in his community and somebody that wouldn't get weirdly emotional during a game. I think he got several flags for unsportsmanlike conduct, and he was ejected, and Shannon Sharpe won in the biggest way that winning can happen because he got personal in some place that was about women. And I called Derek Thomas, and I asked him if that story was true. And Derek Thomas, who I had a good relationship with, hung up on me.
So, yes.
And I've never gotten from Shannon Sharpe that story of what it is that he was saying that made Derek Thomas so crazy that in a primetime Monday night game, one of the stars of the league, I got several penalties made crazy by Shannon Sharpe, and I'm pretty sure got ejected.
Yeah, that is a part of the sport, and there is like layers to the shit talk because there's like the situations, kind of like what Mike is talking about. I've been in the league, and I've been shit talking someone who is clearly superior to my playing ability. And I'm like, man, I cannot wait for this game to get over because I'm writing checks that my ass can't cash. And so you go through this game and you're being dominated and you're trying and you're like, God, I just want to get out of here. And then there is the version where you're like, I got to get this person out of the game, out of their game, and focused on something else.
You tried this with James Harrison, didn't you?
I did it because it was just fun. It was like James Harrison focusing on trying to kill me and not focusing on getting the quarterback was like, A, it helps my team, but also it's like playing a little bit of a game of chicken. It's like, man, am I going to make it out of this game without dying? I didn't that game specifically. I went to the hospital. But the whole thrill of being like, man, I wonder if I can do this and get away with it.
Did the taste of your own blood get you going, though?
It did, man.
When you came to?
When I came to, I'm like, what is that? Oh, did we have a party? Yes, we did.
Derek Thomas was flagged 3 times on one drive because of Shannon Sharpe, who kept reciting his girlfriend's phone number at the time. That's the report here.
Oh, that's a hard one, man.
Yeah, that's tough.
Hardest I've ever taken some shit talking was from the crowd. High school basketball game, and my brother was playing for the Bengals at the time, and they were not very good. And they started chanting a bunch of stuff about my brother. Like, I'm okay if you shit talk me, but that got under my skin so bad. I played horribly, and then after the game, I tried to go up in the student section and fight. And, yeah, it was like one of those. That was the one time where I wish I could. Penn Cambria was the name of the high school. They got me good, Penn Cambria. But this war isn't over.
You can't be emotional with this stuff, right? It has to be a bit strategic. Like once you get into, it was crazy to watch that happen to Derek Thomas on national television. 3 penalties on one drive because he just wants to fight Shannon Sharpe, and Shannon Sharpe can't have a greater victory in his Hall of Fame career than that.
Goodness gracious,
than making someone so crazy with his mouth, a Hall of Famer so crazy with his mouth that he got him ejected from the game.
He was doing it before every snap. Reciting the phone number.
Roy, what other information do you have? Somebody needs to ask Shannon Sharpe about this. He might find some of this. I mean, Derek Thomas was very respected, and that's a secret that probably is something that Shannon Sharpe wouldn't have wanted revealed.
Well, CBS Sports reports that because Derek Thomas had died and he was asked after his death that Shannon Sharpe will never reveal what he actually said to Shannon Sharpe, to Derek Thomas during.
But evidently, does Stugotz have some bad reporting there, or does he have better reporting than Roy has when he gives us the details that I did not know? Because I was calling Derek Thomas to ask him what was happening there when he was still alive, and so I did not have that answer to the question. I don't know what the answer to the question is.
Are you shit-talking Roy's reporting right now?
I think that Stugotz just dominated Roy's reporting, and you accuse me of projection. I would not like shit-talking. Yeah. It would be unpleasant.
Just for the record, someone else could have that detail that played during that game, and Shannon Sharpe can still maintain being respectful of the dead.
Right.
I just don't know what's true there. I'd like.
Doesn't stop you from talking your shit.
I was gonna say you guys are doing pretty good at shit talking to me.
Some of us played pickleball against some others of us and kicked their asses, and some of us shit talked the entire time.
Wow, Roy.
While others could not handle it.
Wow.
I would like to.
I was more angry at my performance.
Also, Chris Cody.
Yeah, you were terrible, Roy.
Chris Cody was shit talking me. And I was his teammate.
You were dominated. Yes, you were being shit talked by everybody because you were terrible.
I don't know my own power.
That's more reporting than anything.
But I mean,
It's a finesse game.
Not a game of power.
Look at Dan piling on. I want everyone to watch what's going on here with
Yeah.
this guy.
Oh, I saw it. We all saw
like,
it.
I saw the blood boil. I'm starting to taste my own blood over here. I don't like it.
Roy hit a home run in a major league ballpark, or at least where it is that the Marlins played in batting practice. I believe he's the only one here who could do that. Roy was not an embarrassment on American Ninja Warrior the way many of our participants were at American Ninja Warrior.
Easier course.
Roy would be one of the best athletes on the show, if not for the existence of Chris Cody, who was then beat in a race by Billy Gill, and I believe Jessica could throw an orange further than any of you. Roy is said to be around here among our best athletes. So,
but that's not saying much.
Congratulations, Roy.
Thank you.
I can absolutely launch an orange.
Yeah, and we'd kick Dan Patrick's crew's ass.
Well,
In a fist
we
fight.
need to do this. We need to finally
I
do
mean, in
this.
Well, they don't like us.
sporting
No,
events.
I know, but when's that ever stopped us? Like, yes.
Well, it stops
This
us
time.
because they need to participate.
This time.
Right.
This time
We
it
need to
stops
agree.
us.
We were talking-
Congratulations. You've stopped us.
We were talking before this show, Hawk, I don't know because you were a real athlete. I don't know if you ever played with a Vortex football growing up. Did you ever play with the Vortex?
I don't. Give me another word.
The Vortex
Nerf
was like the
ball.
Nerf one with like the
With the
tail on
tail.
it.
But it
and
would
had
make
like
noise.
the
Yeah,
and
of
then it had like
course.
the whistle.
Yeah.
I felt like I could throw that 90 yards easily.
You
Where
ever-
probably it went like 45 feet.
It
Hard to
used to
catch,
sell.
though, because sometimes
It
the
was-
whistle part would get you right on the nail.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
kind of only for like the long ball competition because when you tried to play actual backyard football with it, it became tough.
Dude, you could throw bullets with that thing.
But it was hard to aim because it was like your perception of where you were throwing. It would go like 10 yards further.
You need
For
some
some.
touch, precision,
For
Dan.
some.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that was my first inkling that I wasn't a quarterback.
The point was, Dan was trying to say how great we all are as athletes. I think we could all throw a vortex. At
The
least
place-
90 yards.
Competition would be epic.
I left you out on pole vaulting, and that's how you attack, by doing that, by
No, we're
taking the
just trying to-
You've been doing it for 20 years. I understand. I'm familiar with your work.
You don't have a connection point to the Vortex. That connected with so many people in our audience.
You were the pole vaulter. I named everyone else as an athlete. Mike's probably mad somewhere in there that I haven't talked about his shit-talking soccer play as the greatest keeper that South Florida's ever seen.
My game got canceled yesterday, but I am active.
The point was that Roy is supposed to be among the great athletes we had, and at pickleball he was terrible. And the original question I was asking, Hawk, how much do your feet hurt?
I also
They
hit my
hurt a lot.
target.
Oh, yeah.
They hurt tremendously.
You said I wasn't scared to go through a secondary. You didn't answer the question about what the cost, what the tax is of I love it, and now you're in retirement. You're looking for physical contact, and you can't have it anywhere because you love so much being in pain.
Yeah, I don't love being in pain. I miss being in pain. There's a difference. Right?
I mean, I want
That felt
you.
profound. Somebody back me up here.
This is what
Well,
I've been
I
trying
like-
to get to for
He's
20
right.
minutes.
I like
Okay.
the soreness. That makes me know that it's working.
It makes
Right.
me feel like I put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That
But
there
you
was a
chose your
cost.
kids. You could have put more work in, and you chose your kids.
That's why I do supersets now.
I put a different kind of work
You're
in.
trying to
now.
shame him for being a good father?
Yeah,
What's going on?
it's like
I
you
am.
could have had a Super Bowl, man.
Or two.
You could have had a Super Bowl, and then they could have went to the NFL because you were absent. You're ruining the cycle of our football. This is why American whites are dominating.
Is it also
There's not
possible?
enough fatherless kids, Hawk.
Is it
Ridiculous,
also
Stugotz.
possible that your body's hurting because you're getting old? Because like I didn't play in the NFL, and boy, my dogs bark sometimes.
Billy,
yeah.
Billy, the
Yep.
thing that I want to ask him, because I think this culture that he comes from, and it's football culture.
I was
going
gonna
to
say,
about
whoa.
here.
Okay.
Careful, Dan.
Careful there, bud.
That the entirety of that culture is built so he would be reluctant to tell us how tough he is. I'm going to have to use a crowbar to get out of his mouth all of the consequences that there were to him missing and liking that physical pain as he enters his late 30s, and it's a little harder to get out of bed because his feet hurt. Like you've got the residual pain. I know you're walking around with it, and you're missing the previous pain when your feet are going to hurt for the rest of your life because no one understands what being a slot receiver does to your feet.
Yeah, no, it hurts. It hurts, man. My ankles hurt. I walk down the steps like I'm 60 in the morning. It takes me at least 30 minutes to not limp around throughout the day. I have bone spurs in both of my ankles, so they don't bend the way they need to. So it's literally just me picking my feet up and just going like this with no, torque, really, for a little bit until they get warmed up.
Yeah.
It's harder to work out. I should probably start taking anti-inflammatories to make myself feel a little better. My shoulders hurt. I can't lay with my arms up for a certain amount of time. All those things.
It just sounds like you're getting old. I got to be honest.
I think this is just age.
But I'm 38. Is that supposed to be? I'm only 38. Is that what happens?
You laugh at this, but I believe this is sort of part of the dehumanization that happens in the transaction of how overtly you guys are giving your money or your bodies over for money. Like, it's the trade. You're going to age faster than the rest of us.
Yeah, no. I don't think
Faster? He's in better shape. I started feeling these things at like 27.
25 for me.
Yeah. You were in shape a lot longer than the rest of us. I think if anything, it's delayed pain.
No, it hurts still. I mean, I'm still an elite athlete. I think if we had a competition, I would still win all the competitions. And this is my shit talking.
Amongst us, you're saying.
This is my defense mechanism.
Don't
to
let me
start
taste
shit talking.
blood,
You don't want any smoke with me, Billy.
Right.
All right? I still run the 100-meter dash in at least 11 seconds.
I mean, it just sounds like rapid degeneration just based on your playing.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem very fast, but I also don't know what a meter is.
Yep.
Metric system.
11 seconds?
Pretty fast.
Yeah.
I would like, as a countermeasure, as your signature line, Billy, as an action hero, don't let me taste blood. You don't let me taste blood with your face on it. That's a T-shirt. I would buy that as a T-shirt. Yes, that you will crush.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love it.
You will crush Hawkins in all. You would beat him. You'd beat him in pole vaulting. You'd beat him in pole vaulting.
Nah, I don't know about that.
You'd beat him in pole vaulting.
I'm old and slow now.
I think that there is so much content on this show that goes malnourished.
Tell me about it.
That is a superhero plot right there. That in order for his superpowers to kick in, he has to taste blood.
Dan's still talking his shit,
So he has to get punched in the face, something has
Right.
to happen to make you taste his own blood, so that he turns into the.
I would love to see pole vaulting between you and Billy.
Man.
Hannibal Lecter.
It's very dangerous, Dan. It's not a sport that we should all just be doing, especially at our advanced ages.
Pole vaulting is always dangerous.
You would take him, though, right?
Pole vaulting?
You think you would take him, right?
That seems so dangerous to me. I am more fearful of pole vaulting and NASCAR than football.
I live on the edge, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Easily.
Some of us are built for this.
Sounds like you're backing down for "Don't Let Me Taste Blood." It sounds like
I don't want to make him taste
you were
blood.
saying something about wanting
You want him
smoke.
to punch me in the face? Like,
No,
where
I
is
want
this
you to
going?
pole vault. What?
My eyes have been open. Dan constantly talks shit.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
man.
I did not know this. Like, hit the entire show.
How?
Him talking shit
On
It's
behalf of others.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute.
And then he says he doesn't talk shit. That's the funny part.
Like,
Not that he
hey.
does it, is that he thinks his style.
I would
because
have
his
never
style
said that.
is different.
Sorry, I
That's
touched
it.
the wrong
Fanfare.
thing. I'm looking for the yes, you just
That's a
explained
fine,
the
man.
show to everybody. Yeah. That's
Demo
the whole.
fun.
I've been doing it for 20 years.
But
Where
it's
you been?
incessant. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the entire show is built on you talking shit about others and getting them to fight.
That's right.
That is.
Yes.
We figured it out.
Yeah. What are you?
Constant
Why are
divider.
you showing everybody the whole thing? What are you
DLS
doing?
Mike.
20
What
years.
are you
Cognizant.
doing?
Manipulative machine.
Cog.
Like, what are you? I don't understand.
Cock, it's all right.
How,
People
Just
talk
manip-
shit. What?
I'm a Brett Favre in this manipulated machine.
I can't find the right button here. I'll find it. Hold on.
Another phone.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. High sticking.
No, that's not the one that I needed. I'm sorry. I'm going to find it in a second because Mike, how is this dawning on you after 20 years? Like, how is this something you're noticing right
press
now?
the wrong buttons twice
here.
and you don't have to go to
You
the
don't get the
box?
show.
There it is.
Yeah.
Because
Classic.
I'm in charge.
That was
Because,
a classic
yes, what do you mean?
4-minute bit.
What do you mean? How do I get to? It's the thing I do. Like, and Mike's just realizing. Thank you, Billy. I was looking for that one too. I appreciate you helping Roy there.
Aqua?
Yeah, I miss all of that. And yes, I'm shit talking all show, but I also think it is funny as we talk about the pain of Hawk, how easily he relays when we finally get to it. Hey, this is the pain I'm in. And what I don't think you guys understand is you look at him and say, no, this is just aging. His pain threshold is miles beyond where ours is. Miles, like miles and miles still.
He's never had his period.
No.
Well, have you, Hawk?
Very valid. That is, I have nothing for that.
I don't need to hear about men's pain tolerances.
Yeah. Have a baby.
Have you had kidney stones?
No kidney stones.
Oh, you're soft.
Yeah, Billy
have
really
not given
probably
birth.
he ate a raw
Have
onion,
not had a
Dan,
period.
for you.
That's weird.
He probably has the highest pain tolerance.
For me, that's quite the martyrdom, quite the crucifix, the onion.
And you still shit talk him this whole show.
Crazy.
Oh,
I
yes.
did get hit by a car when I was 12, though.
Okay, you win. Wait,
Yeah.
how fast is it going?
It was going pretty good. I flew into an intersection on my bike, but I wasn't supposed to be gone from the house. And so I got hit, and I flew about probably 25 feet in front of another girl my age. Once she see I was okay, she started laughing. And the lady was like, oh, my gosh. She stops the car. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I just got to get home because I wasn't supposed to be gone on my bike. And I was so scared that I was going to get in trouble for being gone. I just went home.
Did that make it hurt less?
The adrenaline was going because getting hit by a car seemed to be the path of least resistance between getting in trouble by my folks for leaving the house when I wasn't supposed to.
That happened to me once. My friends, we were like roughhousing, and they were swinging this like bag of marbles around, and it like hit me in the head. And my parents were at church, and I was afraid that we were gonna get in trouble for roughhousing, so we never told
Just
them.
never
And
said
I
anything,
thought
yes.
for the next like 24 hours, I was probably just gonna drop dead.
That's not getting hit by a car.
That's a little different.
I
Yeah,
broke
I
my
didn't
back.
say it was, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. That was the common thread.
I broke my back in the game.
Okay.
When I was in college. You know what? It helped me in football because after getting so much pain, I then wasn't scared of it or any of it.
Really?
Yeah. It got to a point like, you've had everything. You've broken your back. You've done it. And it was like, all right, whatever happens, happens at that point.
You were numb to pain.
Put it on the poll.
No longer scared of it.
At Le Batard Show, what hurts more, getting hit by a car or getting hit by a bag of marbles?
In the head.
In the head? Because I will say again, and I don't know if
Or your period.
Well, that one
Thank you, that wins.
everyone
Yes.
conceded that one. I thought, okay, put that on the poll as well. What hurts more, an NFL career or your period? Fine. At Le Batard Show. I thought it had been conceded though. The thing about Hawk and what we're talking about is I do believe you can articulate all the reasons that the pain is worth it. With football players, when Stugotz says, they know the consequences.
Yeah.
I worry for you in your 60s and 70s because the pain threshold is going to have to sustain for the 40 years after the 7 years of playing.
Yeah. Don't worry for me. I'll be all right, man. Yeah, you know, it was.
You got out early, man.
But it was worth it, you would say, right? Like it's like every time we talk to somebody about what it costs, every single time they say it was worth it.
I agree. It was worth it. At this stage of my life, I will say it was worth it.
What are you laughing about, Mike?
He would not let you get in there. He wanted to grief eat so bad.
Yeah, man. I'm not,
Just
I'm here.
slapped you off the line and ran right past you.
I'm here. I would not be here if that was not the case. I'm talking to Dan Le Batard.
That's right.
We know.
I remember 20 years ago watching this show, like, man, if only I could make it on
made
that
it,
show.
kid. You
I
made it.
made it.
the City of Angels may have to offer. Ain't that right, Jess and Kate?
That's right. We're just here to ask quirky questions to grown men wearing their full uniforms without pads in a convention hall.
Oh my God, is that George Clooney?
It is!
Baby one scotch at the Roxy.
Come on now!
One shot at whiskey a go-go.
There we go!
Now we're drinking to unemployed technicians, but a job to do. Professionals with a drink or two. Just a thimble of gin, and then I'll be locked in. After gin, then we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl. Super
I mean, we have been locked up for a while.
Yeah, there's no rule against covering the big game and enjoying La La Land.
Wait a minute, it's the Walk of Fame. So much to see instead of the big game. And the traffic is bad on La Brea. So come and join me in popping tequila.
Get it!
I'm just here to drink and find Lewis Hamilton.
Hey guys,
I'm
you
Brand.
gonna shotgun a beer or what?
I don't feel so good. I am genuinely fucked up right now.
to the Super Bowl. To the Super Bowl. Super
Hell yeah!
It's showtime, buddy! The Bengal speaks. And the ram responds. The Bengal tiger is an apex predator with no natural enemies other than man. It's equipped with incredible strength, combined with sharp claws and massive canine teeth, designed for overpowering and killing its prey that can weigh over 1,000 pounds. It is, in reality, a finely tuned killing machine. The ram, on the other hand, though extremely quick and powerful in its own right, is a vegetarian that does not have to hunt down and kill to survive. Their massive horns are powerful, and they do have the ability to severely injure an animal with a well-placed bow, giving them the opportunity to escape. But for one to be able to overtake a Bengal tiger in a fight to the death would require a small miracle.
Stafford with the ball, with 6 minutes left, down 4 points, with 79 yards to go.
In a face-to-face battle, the best the ram could hope for would be an extremely lucky first blow, done in the form of a massive headbutt that would temporarily stun the Bengal and provide an opportunity for escape.
Touchdown, OBJ!
That, however, is unlikely. And the most realistic result would be the Bengal striking its claws into the ram while burying its teeth into its neck and causing a fairly quick death by severing the spine.
T. Higgins is gone for 75 yards.
Then the Bengal would devour the ram. Unless that ram can spark a battle cry. The Rams' victory was sealed on strength of your line. Champions.
Stafford hangs back, looks off the corner, over the middle, a no-look pass. For Cooper, McVay keeps calling his number. The penalty flags rain towards ground. Everyone in the building knows where it's going. Stafford to Cup in the end zone. Oh, the joy and elation of the moment. The polarizing quarterback and the Big Sky Conference product answered the bell. One of the game's historic moments.
Nothing stops the NFL. Nothing stops the NFL. Nothing stops the NFL. Nothing stops the One play at a time, boys. One play at a time. Winning isn't everything. It's the There's nothing like the NFL.
All right, guys, I'm really excited about this. I've just been listening to the Hamilton soundtrack my entire drive over here. A little bit of another day of sun, because Jess and I have been talking about singing that together. Super excited to be part of this.
Hey, Izzy. JT, that's my friend Izzy from ESPN.
Nice to meet you, man.
Hey, guys.
Izzy Gutierrez around the horn. What are you doing here?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, look, I understand I don't really work for you guys, but I heard you guys were doing this, and it really means a lot to me. You know, representation matters. I know that's not necessarily something that really counts in your shipping container, or is really accounted for in your shipping container. So once I heard you guys were doing a big gay musical, I had to be a part of it.
Doing what?
The big gay musical. No, I figured I heard about it in Greg Cody's column, or
No, it's the Big Game musical. The Big Game with an M.
Shit. Well, who's going to listen to that?
Greetings to all. Welcome to 2022. Omicron is on the run, and away it went. But oops, there goes gravity, and here comes a new variant. Omaha, Corona, Hut 1, Hut 2. Nothing infects the Super Bowl, and nothing stops football.
Racism, greed, trauma to brain and spine. And yet, I cannot look away. Heroes are dead. Science has their heads. Oh.
cockfighting, CTE prayer circles. They blackballed the black baller. They tried to end racism by stenciling it in the end zone. Billionaire boys using millionaires as toys. It's all immoral, all unethical. Ooh, the witching hour. Nothing stops the NFL. Is this heaven or hell? I can't tell. It's Urban and Snyder and Flores and Gruden, but Kyler, but Kelsey, but Cooper, but Canty. It's cheating and tanking and bounties and banking, but parlays, but face paint, but promo, but innings.
Here we go. This one's for all the glory. Give it your best, it's all you got.
Hey, this is Roz Gold on What and this week on Good Follow, we're discussing the NBA All-Star Game, the potential of a one-on-one tournament for the NBA, coming off of the success of the one-on-one tournament from Unrivaled. And speaking of Unrivaled, Benijah Laney Hamilton joins the Laces. Plus, we have an awesome guest in ESPN's own Elle Duncan. She joins our show to discuss all things college basketball, and we dive into soccer with the She Believes Cup. So catch Good Follow every Wednesday. It drops 7 p.m. Eastern on DraftKings Network or wherever else that you get your podcasts. We'll see you there.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Roy, I feel like you're a little scared, a little gun shy. I feel like that
he's got a lot going on.
He's got a lot going on. That seat has a lot of
buttons. And
a lot of stuff going on. He's got to make sure microphones are on and
sliding over here.
Yeah, so keep stay on it.
But he's doing a good job.
Yeah,
a great job.
I would never say otherwise. As alleged, I'm a shit talker. I believe myself to be a supportive friend and ally to all involved here.
Thank you.
I believe as well that I will have a hard time getting Jessica, Billy, Andrew Hawkins, and Stugotz to meet the enthusiasm of Roy and Mike for what is presently happening in hockey, and PK Subban is going to join us here in moments. I don't believe I will get from the group fired up people. I believe Stugotz right now is looking up everything that happened this weekend so he can get caught up on all things hockey.
I was looking up Wes Welker. I mean,
seems like this is minor shit talking. It's like, you guys aren't going to care about this.
Well, all right. So what I'm asking you to do is create chemistry for me here when I have trouble with leadership and I run a loose ship. Mike and Roy badly want to talk about this. I don't think anybody else does, and it's always a problem around here when we've got like real good sports content, but also people want the funny, and I've got to make the chemicals combine. And sometimes I do it by just shit talking.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the hockey? Because we'd love to get you aboard on our side. You've highlighted a bunch of people that you don't feel like want to talk about it, but you haven't ventured into the waters.
Because I want to talk about I want to talk about Terrence Shannon. That's what I want to do. I want to talk about that Illinois ceremony. That's what I want to do.
That's a weird way of saying you don't want to talk about hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
You should just do what you want to do.
Were you not watching Saturday night? It was electric. That empty netter. Oh.
I was watching Saturday Night Live, which is what I wanted to talk about earlier in the show, but people assume that I'm in control of what's happening around here.
I was watching Kevin Hart take pictures with women much taller than him, which we also need to talk about.
Also,
but we could start with the hockey. Yeah.
Also, Saturday Night Live aired on Sunday.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that either, Billy. They should have done it on Saturday for tradition's sake. I know it was like a 4-day thing.
For
but-
50 years, we've had this one time slot. You know how we're going to honor it? By putting it on a Sunday.
But it was a Sunday that felt like a Saturday because we had Monday off.
But there was also a Friday concert.
Correct.
Yeah,
So there was just nothing airing on Saturday?
Well, they knew not to go up against the Four Nations.
Yeah, probably.
And it's also 50 years. Come on, give them. They're allowed to do one night the next day.
Compilers.
No, Saturday somewhere.
No, I'm with Billy on this.
Whoa!
We could have probably stopped at 30 years.
They need to get over themselves. I'm serious, Dan. That
It
show hasn't been
sounds
funny
like
in
a
25
gross-
years.
Come on.
Comedy institution.
Hasn't been funny for 25 years.
At least.
Unfair.
Yeah.
Unfair.
Why are you doing a ghost sound?
Oh, because I'm horrified because on how disrespectful that is.
It is
I
super
agree.
disrespectful. Chris
not false.
Wig's like my favorite character ever on SNL, and she was in that 25 years that you've eliminated.
Just one person.
Come on.
Apparently, they aired the first ever SNL episode on Saturday.
That seems problematic.
There's warnings for it.
What is it? That it's not funny in the last 25 years, or we're not allowed to watch the first episode? It can't be both.
Can I ask you guys a question about those warning things that we put before stuff? Because, like,
He wasn't listening to you at all, by the way.
No,
he was just
I
going to
know.
go. It's a
was
great
a good
question,
point.
but he
Yeah,
was
it
just
It
going
was
to go.
an incredible
with-
question.
Yeah, no, we'll get back to it, but he's going to go and do what he
no,
wants
it's
to
about
do.
what you guys are talking about. You said that there's warning things beforehand. Like Disney Plus, like half of their old movies for kids have the warning thing beforehand. It's like, careful, like this is probably racist and you may offend a lot of people. It's like, are we gonna take a stand or not? Like we're just gonna okay, like we're good. We're just gonna keep
Disney-
airing it. We have the warning at the front end, so like our hands are clean of this. We don't need to do
You know,
anything
Disney
else here.
altered the warning.
What did they say?
They softened it. Societal shift, everybody.
Societal shift. I did see Ben Stiller post about heavyweights, and he said that Disney Plus will probably never put it on there, but it was like the 20th anniversary of heavyweights. Is anybody in here a heavyweights fan?
Love heavyweights.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Show my kids all the time. Probably not appropriate in today's day and age, but damn it if it ain't funny.
It's the exact same character from Dodgeball, too. Exact same character.
Yes. And it's one of those movies that I wish actually had a remake. Like, I wish that they would do heavyweights, an adult version. We should create that movie right here on this show.
If we can talk about some of the difficulties that there are in comedy, because Stugotz and Billy have the opinion of a lot of people that it would be hard for a show to keep up in the modern age on funny when they are live on Saturday night. And for the criticism very commonly is of a show that has existed for 50 years, which is crazy. Not surprising that at the end people would disrespect it with you haven't been funny for 20 years. If they gave us 25 of 50 years that are funny, still unbelievable that they would have a 50-year television show when sketch comedy, I can't even imagine how hard it is to do right now. Something, and they don't do it well all the time. They do it less well than they used to. But in this realm, I do believe some comedy has gotten harder in 2025.
Absolutely, because of the internet. There's a social media comedian named Mark Phillips, Supreme Dreams, who points this out, is that it's hard to do sketch comedy shows today because there are so many at-home comedians and sketch artists that when something happens, almost immediately you see a sketch on it. Like, I'm talking about within minutes, hours, like, let alone if you're waiting till Saturday, it's too dated. Content doesn't last that long for anything.
But the internet's a gift and a curse for SNL, right? Because like that's how the majority of their content's actually being viewed. Like I don't think there's a ton of people who are sitting at home on Saturday night watching SNL anymore.
It's also how they're discovering talent now, mainly.
Oh, but it's just such a great way to see meritocracy play out. Yes, the internet is trying to make all of this harder, so it's harder to compete. And the late night shows have crumbled at the feet of that as well. All of it's gotten a lot faster because people see that there's money to be grabbed 10 minutes later, and that's where media shakes and crumbles. Like, that's how it happens.
That's it. Here's a look at me Louie moment here. I did Last Dance sketches almost immediately, and a cast member from SNL. Come on, hit me, Roy. Roy, sorry.
There it is.
Can I also have stats for Look at Me Louie? Because I feel like I've earned a lot. Like per show, Look at Me Louie.
You're also
I got to
going
be up
for
there.
it.
I am, but
It's
don't be
cheating.
mad because I'm
It's
patting
cheating.
the stat.
No, but it's cheating.
It's
It
not
is
cheating.
It
It is how I talk. Okay, it
You're
is
like
my
Rondo
life.
with assists. Yeah, he's good at it, but still.
Yeah, but like,
But the thing that SNL has that a lot of like the TikTok comedians don't have is the A-list celebrities, which is why I think
helps.
they leaned all the way into making the entire show. Just like, look at all of these famous people that have played a role in what our show's been for the last 50 years. Like the entire audience was all
Famous
like
people,
it was like Kevin Costner sitting next to like Bad Bunny, sitting next to Adam Driver, next to Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
I was locked in on Costner.
and Billy
He looked weirded out by this.
Cougs and Demi Lovato were
Yes,
at the
they
Daytona
were-
500.
No, because there was like there's a
Oh, no,
there's
they
a
were
part
also at
where
SNL.
Cher's hand is like really high on Costner's thigh. There's a weird look that he gives Ryan Reynolds at a certain
He's
point.
got weird vibes.
He's also got like a rumored romance right now with Jennifer Lopez.
Reynolds?
Kevin
also
Costner.
like an old one
Costner or
with
Reynolds?
Kevin
Whitney
Costner.
Houston. Whitney Houston and him. There's like a. Yeah, there was something
There's a
there
thing?
as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a social media
The
thing.
Bodyguard.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What I like best on SNL are the pre-recorded sketches. I think they do those the best, and
I
I
agree.
think
The
it
the
probably
ads
shouldn't
and
be
the
Saturday Night Live.
commercials.
Saturday Night
Yes.
Taped, yeah.
It should be Saturday Night Taped, and that was the evolution that they missed on. Favorite SNL sketch over the last 20 years was The Other Cavaliers that actually did make it into the show. You should look this sketch up. It's when LeBron was at his height in Cleveland, 2018, and they did like an intro to the other Cavs you never hear about. And it is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I liked the most the montage of all of the fake advertisements, like the fake commercials for the fake, like the mom jeans, like all of those, and that like super
Bro.
colon blow. That was a funny bit. And then they also did a bit at the end where they did an in memoriam for all of the characters and sketches over the years that are not
Questionable makeup,
yeah, like
child molestation.
problematic, and like they went category by category, and I think that was like a funny way to laugh at themselves for some of the questionable things that they've done. And they also blurred out every actor who was in blackface or brownface in that entire.
Okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
I like what they did there. Chappelle Show, Key and Peele. I think you
But
should
see,
leave.
that's
All
where,
that.
that's where I think some of their strengths are. Is you just identified shows that didn't do too many. They're sketch comedy shows, but they didn't necessarily do like topical. Like this is in because they were taped so
Yes.
far before, and that's where SNL is really struggling. Yeah, I get it to be topical and vibrant with the way that SNL is known for, especially in the opening sketch. I can see where that's more difficult, but where they've really struggled, where they've lagged behind, are these benchmark characters that would spawn off movies. Like they're just kind of lacking in that department right now.
Yeah, Ted Lasso is a miss for Saturday Night Live. That should have been a Saturday Night Live.
Should have
sketch
started
turned
there,
show.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
it should have
right.
started there.
Do you think PK Subban has any interest in this conversation? Because
Absolutely.
I've been wanting to get to this conversation since the beginning of the show, but I don't have any control over here what it is that we're doing. So now we're going back to hockey. Do you have any interest in talking about Saturday Night Live with us? Does it mean anything to you as a pop culture phenomenon? I think everyone's being disrespectful because they didn't like the last show when 50 years on television is just a crazy achievement. They're allowed to celebrate it, and you're allowed to not find any of it funny if you had expectations for it.
Well, Keenan is a friend of mine. I was able to work with him. He's probably the only person that I know that works on Saturday Night Live. I've never been on the show, so can I say I'm a fan? I've been a fan of a few things that they've done, but I don't watch it consistently. So
I think
maybe if I get on the show,
I think
maybe if I get on.
you'll give us true opinions if they invite you on the show. Yes. I think Billy and Stugotz might have the majority opinion here, just dismissing this as something. Well, the last 25 years or 20 years or 15 years, it hasn't been funny.
Hold on, PK. He's trying to put us in a really bad spot here because Keenan has had quite the career, starting on all that, then Keenan and Kel, then he does all the stuff on Saturday Night Live. He's in the Grinch remake. Keenan is really a testament.
Stud, absolute stud.
He's devoted his life to sketch comedy. He's made us laugh since we were 9 on the same formatted show. And to say the last 25 years haven't been funny,
well, it has.
When Keenan has been on there the whole time making me laugh, profusely.
Keenan also knows, you know what? Like, this is working for me. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to leave Saturday Night Live and go be a Hollywood star. Not that he's not, but he's not going to turn his back on Saturday Night Live and his roots of sketch
like
comedy.
all the others.
I
Like
think
Farrell.
he might be one of the longest tenured SNL cast members of all time.
He's the longest tenured SNL cast member, the most episodes, and it's not even close. He's like by a long shot.
Pierre Escargot.
Yep, and he's good looking too.
Yeah,
I'll give him a
probably.
shout
Sure.
out too, right live on the air. Good looking brother too.
Absolutely, he looks the same.
Let's
age.
do that,
Little heavy,
PK.
but-
Let's go ahead and just give out all the shout-outs for the good-looking brother. Just go ahead. I'd like to do this. Do this as
To all
long
my
as you
brothers
like.
that are watching, all my good looking brothers,
Yes,
send
thank
me
you.
love.
Oh,
I
my
appreciate it.
I want his top
PK.
5
I
good-looking
appreciate
brothers.
Yes,
PK.
I did too. We'll get to that in a
I
second.
thank
but-
you
wait a
from the
minute.
bottom of my heart, PK.
You're the man,
I
PK.
appreciate
Thank
that
you.
shout out.
I appreciate
It's
that,
actually
brother.
slimmed down.
The part that I
Thank
loved
you.
about that, and
Thank you.
the single best part of that is that was absolutely him saying, "My fellow good-looking brothers."
Exactly.
Oh, he's permanently entrenched in his own top 5.
Yeah,
I'm
yes,
writing
yes,
it here,
yes,
PK.
yes.
Writing it here.
100%.
Fraternity of us.
Okay. All right, top 5 good-looking brothers. It's not where I thought we were going to start, but
do
let's
it.
go ahead and do it. Number 5. I know this requires some time for you to think, but number 5 on your top 5 good-looking brothers. Go ahead, number 5.
Tay Diggs. I'm going with Tay Diggs at number 5.
Number 5, okay.
Hold on a second. Is this list just good-looking brothers, or are these ones that are on TV presently?
I'm just going to give you my top 5. I don't know where it's
perfect.
coming
All right,
from.
yes,
You're gonna
just
have to
right.
do the
Get
math.
out of
You
the
have to
way,
do your own
everybody.
research.
All right, clear out, everybody. Who wants the ball?
Tay Diggs.
Yes,
Okay.
number 4.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Kobe Bryant at number 4. I got MJ at number 3.
He's always number 1.
I think he's mixing top 5s, but go
I
ahead.
got Tyson Beckford at number 2. And I got Denzel at number 1. That's my top 5 right there.
Silver
No
Fox.
Jalen Hurts.
Silver
Or
Fox
Keenan.
at the end.
Or PK.
Jalen Hurts, he's an honorable mention. Keenan's in there. He's in my top 10. He's in my
What,
top
you want
10.
to do top 10? Eric Allen, he has lagoons
No,
for
I
eyes.
don't.
Lewis
This is his.
Hamilton?
This is
It's his list.
Who said
Yeah.
that?
That's his list, yeah.
PK Subban's top 50
All right, let's
best
do
looking
this.
black
You know what?
men
Hold on, let's do it.
in America.
Number
And Billy
10.
wants it to
Yes,
be
let's-
whether it's entertainment or not.
Yes.
So
trying to figure
the
out
guy
what
in
we're rating
apartment
here.
6B
Let's do it, yes.
that lives near Billy.
Yes, number
What did I
10.
start?
Let's do it
What
with
did I
number
start?
10. We'll do it number 10. And we'll go to 10 to 6.
Number 10, Carl Subban. I'm going with my dad.
Oh,
Yeah,
good dad.
good choice. Good
Yeah.
choice.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So
Which
I
leads
gotta
me
go
to
with
number
Big Carl.
9.
Number 9.
Number 9, I'm going to go with Kevin Weeks, ESPN analyst, friend of the show.
Excellent. Nice.
I'm going to go with Kevin Weeks. Number 8, I'm going to go with Mike Greer, hockey guy, GM of the San Jose Sharks. Shout out to BU, Boston University. I'm going with him.
Go Terriers.
Where are we at now?
Number
8?
7. Number 7.
Number 7?
Yep.
Lucky number 7, I'm going to go with Jordan Subban, my youngest brother. Just got married this summer.
Good-looking family.
Wait a
man.
minute. This list is
yep,
Nice one's
great
Malcolm,
looking
isn't it?
family.
No, this is ridiculous. This list stinks now.
It's his
This
list,
is ri-
man.
No, it's a terrible list.
Jordan
It
Subban.
can't be.
Jordan
it-
Subban.
it
Let's
can't-
hear
Come on.
6.
It
Let's hear
cannot.
6.
It cannot.
Number 6, number 6.
That away.
I'm going with the Worldwide West. New York Knicks are going well, so I'm going with Worldwide West, my boy.
That's
number 6.
ridiculous.
Still no
no
Keenan.
Malcolm?
Still no Keenan.
That
on
one's
this
from
list.
that one's from way out left
This-
field. No one
this-
saw that
He
one
said,
coming.
he said Keenan was on his top 10. He named the top 10. He
this-
didn't make the top 10.
This list is asinine.
Jalen Hurts
I got
was honorable
another one,
mention top
too.
5.
Oh,
didn't
number
make
one.
the top 10.
What do you mean a number one?
Hold on, he has a
Denzel was your
number
number
one.
one.
I had
Your number
Denzel.
one
I
is-
wrote it
wait,
down. I wrote it
Denzel was
down.
number one.
You
His
can throw
list.
Spike Lee in there. Spike Lee's
Wait,
in
what
there.
is happening right now?
Are
This
you
is-
naming
this
people
is
you want to
just
work with, PK?
Asinine.
Is this
asinine? This is
So
disrespectful.
they clip it off, and you can get on Saturday Night Live,
It's
star in a
offensive.
Spike Lee movie,
Offensive to me. Offensive that you would have a top 10
get a
list
Jordan deal.
of best-looking brothers, and it would be your family.
No Michael Shea.
3 family
That's
members.
not the offensive one. It's Worldwide West. I mean,
I mean,
Unbelievable. He got a shout out. Crazy got a shout out.
his top 5: Tay Diggs, Kobe Bryant, MJ, Tyson Beckford, and Denzel. That is a list that was made 25 years ago when SNL was funny.
No Morris Chestnut.
My aunt Charlene has the same top 5. She's 66.
You are so right.
Come on,
what
man.
a fraud list.
Dan, it's his list and it's Black History Month, so maybe
Exactly.
lay off the
So
shit
you know
talking
what?
of the-
Stop
great.
talking shit.
Thank you very much.
That's valid,
exactly.
Jessica. Thank you,
Anything
Jessica,
goes
for
right
that.
now, guys.
True ally, Jessica. I appreciate you. Dan, you're out of line.
Except hockey, it would seem.
Yeah.
Out of line.
Anything goes right now.
You
Dana.
let this conversation between PK, Roy, and myself, okay? Greatly appreciate it.
I will not respect Black History
You will
Month.
not
What?
respect Black History
What?
Month? Oh, wow.
Clip
that.
Clip that.
Come on, man.
Clip
That
Clip
much.
it.
You guys
No.
clipped me saying, you clipped
Take
me
out that
saying
much.
We
that
all heard
much.
what you said.
That much. You guys didn't even let me get it out.
9 days
Don't-
left.
Hey,
I
We
felt
got
it
9
long
days
before
left.
you said it.
That's a respectful top 5, though. You got to respect that top 5.
It is.
I do, but I don't have to
Dated,
respect
but-
it because of Black History Month.
Well, I didn't say it. Hey, don't put that on
No,
me.
you
I didn't
did
mention
say
Black-
it. You did. You brought
No,
it.
I heard it come from the other side, and I acknowledge that it is Black History Month. I didn't say that. You asked for my top 5. You asked for top 10. I gave you 10. You know what I mean? That's You asked for it. It's your show. Hey,
See?
I'm just saying.
Look at the box. Look at the 4 box right now. You know why? Because Dan thinks that your whole top 5 looks exactly the same.
Well, yeah, you asked me for top 5 brothers. I gave you the best looking brothers. It's not my fault if they kind of look the same. They're all good looking. What
I
do you
don't
want?
think that was the brotherhood Dan was looking
They're
for.
all literally your
They
brothers.
got, well, what did you guys think? Why don't you give me your top 5? What's your top 5?
Huh? Dan?
Dan?
Dan.
Dan?
I for one am not interested in Dan's top 5 brothers. Can I go out on a limb and say that?
Yeah, I'll
Really?
join you on that limb.
During Black History that Dan doesn't respect?
Yeah.
But I am interested in him having to come up with a top 5 right now off the top of his head.
Good luck.
I do not respect Black History.
We got it, Dan. We said
understand.
it already.
We
You don't
understand.
respect Black History. How many sound bites of it do we need?
Damn.
Month that much that I would allow these guys to decide that Denzel Washington,
Number 1.
Okay, that's the least controversial one on that list.
No, hold on. Denzel Washington. I walk into Starbucks, I get a coffee, like everybody else. They ask you for your name. This has happened to me at least 50 times.
He's going to say.
I go into Starbucks.
No way.
There's a long lineup. It finally gets to my turn. I order my matcha, my green tea matcha, or I get my Americano, double shot of espresso, almond milk, or oat milk, steamed. Sir, what's your name? Denzel.
Okay.
Every single time I say Denzel, they laugh. Why are they laughing? Every single time I go to Starbucks, they ask me what my name is. I say Denzel, and she laughs in my face. So, I don't know. I think Denzel's a pretty good-looking guy. I don't know. I think I kind of look like him a little bit when I cut my
There
hair
it was.
low.
I knew it. That's where it was.
When I cut my hair low. But
You son
gotta
of a.
see it
I
from
knew
the
you were
side.
going there, PK.
If you come straight on, you
Where's
won't
the look
see
at
it,
me,
guys.
Louis?
You gotta
That
look.
is-
You gotta look from the right side.
I felt the setup from the start, PK. I knew where it was going. The moment you asked for silence as you told that story about Denzel, I knew where the hell you were going with it.
Dan, does he look
Then
like Denzel?
Well, when I turned to the side, she didn't laugh
Dan will
anymore.
say
She goes,
She
"Oh,
was
I
like,
can see it."
sorry, Denzel. Sorry, Maximus.
This man is shocking to me. The amount of ego on this man on how handsome
Hey!
he believes himself to be.
Hey, no, I don't think I look like Denzel. I think I.
Yes, you did.
No.
I don't. No, I
A
don't
little
look
bit.
like Denzel.
No.
I don't
You
look like Denzel. I
Jared
got to be
Payton.
honest about that. That's a stretch.
What?
Dan?
That's
no.
a bit of a stretch.
No,
Oh, that's
not this month.
No, 9 days left, man. Be careful.
I thought MJ was a good
Complete
poll,
lack of respect
actually.
for Black history.
Well, I figure if you shoot for Denzel, you're going to fall somewhere short. Maybe in between like Morris Chestnut and a Tay Diggs, somewhere in there.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right
that's
in the
right. That's
middle.
good. That's good. Yeah,
That's
you're
good.
right. Yeah.
All right. I'm not mad at the association to put yourself in that company. I like it. You know,
Hey, man.
I was more upset you didn't put yourself on your top 5 or your top 10. But I guess you
No,
kind of did because you put
too
like
much
4 of your family
ego.
members.
Too much mustard. If I do that, too much ego. Nobody takes you seriously if you put yourself in the top 5.
Yeah. Valid.
Your thoughts on hockey stealing basketballs weekend? I did not think I would ever live enough lifetimes to see something like that happen in this country.
Well, stealing, I mean, that's quite a word. I don't think we stole anything. I think anything that we get from hockey is earned. You know, when you look at the hockey culture itself, it's always protected the team aspect of the game. And that's as deep into the culture. I mean, it's intertwined in the fabric of the culture as deep as you want to go. So what you're seeing now is the evolution of sports. Is hockey growing with that, with the changing landscape of media and social media and all of those things, us being able to show the brightest spots of the game, and fans are noticing that. But one thing that's never changed, which is consistent, is the team aspect of the sport. That's never wavered. And ultimately what that is the players, coaches, everybody that is in the game, no one thinks they're bigger than the game. And when you have that, you have a commitment. You have a commitment from your core hockey fan, which pays for that, which has paid for that over the years. But the growth of the game, now we're seeing it take off. And a lot of that has to do, like I said, with the changing landscape. So I don't think we stole anything from the NBA. I think anything we get isn't a slight at the NBA at all. We're different leagues. I think it comes down to the fan and what the fan wants to pay for. I think that you're getting your money's worth when you pay the price of admission to go into a building to watch a hockey game today. I think you're going to be happy with what you see on the ice. I think you're going to enjoy the experience. And I think we were put on a platform. This Four Nations tournament has been such a huge success because the players, first the league put the structure around it, and then the players showed up in a big way and have showed up in a big way, and they've earned it. And anything that we're getting right now is all earned, and it's earned on the backs of the players.
You talk about growing the audience on television. What about at a grassroots level? What is the league doing to help grow the game that way?
Well, since I've retired, I've obviously worked on the media side, and I've worked with the league. As a co-chair on the PIC and working with the PIC, we have a ton of programs and players, that do things locally. Not everything is national, but we do have a lot of players that are involved in individual programs locally. If you follow the NHL, we have a lot of players in different cities that are doing programs, inner city, and it's different. That's one thing that's cool about the NHL is that every city is different. For example, my Blue Line Buddies program that I started in Nashville, they still continue that program. I go back every year. I'm lucky enough, and it's such an honor to go back. They honor me every night. They honor the program. They bring kids to the game and law enforcement officers, and that's what I can speak to. But we have a ton of guys in the league that are doing things. So, depending on what city you're in, you can find out about all of it. But
PK,
in terms of
the game is growing right now just for a number of different reasons. But when you're speaking about what this weekend was symbolically, right, and what it is locally, as I see the Florida Panthers becoming what Tampa was, and I see something, again, I didn't think I'd ever see in my lifetime, which is Florida caring about hockey in a way that wants to fight with Canada at these political times. To see Kachuck protect specifically what you're talking about, the team concept of hockey and the things that you care about, to bring himself to the superstardom of now we're wrapping some of this stuff in the flag as well. I'm watching Kachuck be at the center. You give me the perspective and the history on this of what is going to be one of the best trades in the history of hockey and sports. To see Kachuck turn Florida into this, to turn the American hockey player into this, the guy who will fight 9 seconds into a game and will hit Connor McDavid because he's here to represent America and hockey that way, the way that you love it.
Well, you just said something very, very key towards the end. Represent hockey. And that's what our players get. They not only represent their families, they not only represent their country, they represent the game. And that is the key in all sports. I'm sorry, that's what greatness is. Because, when I look at greatness in sports, you talk about Matthew Kachuck, and this is going to go down as one of the biggest trades ever. Well, with that being said, there's greatness there. So we're going to recognize some of these players as all-time greats when it's said and done. But how do we look at players as all-time greats? If you want to talk about basketball, hockey, let's talk about hockey for a second. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Jean Beliveau, all of these guys. Sidney Crosby now is the guy in today's game. Connor McDavid is going to be next, and McKinnon. All of these players have forged paths for the next generation. And part of greatness is not just winning championships. It's, are you forging a path for the next generation? Like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did in basketball with Michael Jordan and Kobe. Are you forging that path? And I can tell you, as a retired player, newly retired player, when I look at Matthew Kachuck, Brady Kachuck, Sidney Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, and what these guys are doing, they are putting the game in a phenomenal position for the future players. And that's, to me, part of greatness. That's a part of what fans want to pay for. That's what fans invest in. And that's what our game is today. We got players that are all in for the right reasons.
PK, all of American hockey Twitter is trying to give Jake Sanderson food poisoning here in the next couple hours so Quinn Hughes can play in this game. Why doesn't the NHL, the governing body here, allow for Quinn Hughes to just play this game so we can get the best offensive-minded American defenseman on the ice? They're enforcing these roster rules more than they enforce long-term injury list.
Rules are rules. Rules are rules. So at the end of the day, they made rules at the beginning of the tournament. All the teams knew that. Quinn Hughes, God bless him. I talk about Cale Makar being the best defenseman in the world. Well, Quinn Hughes probably going to win the Norris Trophy this year. He's right in line for it. So, obviously we want to see him on the ice playing. And God willing, if something does happen, he'll be in the lineup tonight. But as of right now, there's rules. And everybody's had to tiptoe around those rules, not just the United States now. So, I think when it's all said and done, no matter who's on the ice, that's what we have with these players. They're going to put on the best show that we've seen throughout this tournament tomorrow night. You can guarantee that, whether Quinn Hughes is in the lineup or not. But if he is in the lineup, wow, what an addition that's going to be. That does change the look of the game for sure.
USA and Canada face off. That is tomorrow night, Four Nations final. The rivals will play in the championship game at TD Garden on ESPN and ESPN+. Thank you, PK. Good talking to you. Good seeing you again. I will not respect Black History. That's not fair. What you've done to me is not fair.
Listen to me.
It's not fair.
The next time I come on, you better have your top 10, Dan.
Okay.
Your top 10. I want to know your top 10.
All right. Number 5, Reggie Theus.
What?
Number 4, Michael B. Jordan. Number 3, Rick Fox.
You have a type.
Yes.
Number 2, Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah. You have a type.
Oh, that's a good one.
And number 1, Jordan Subban.
That's good.
See you later. Thank you for being on with us.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
I want to get to this Terrence Shannon story because I don't know what happened here, but I'm enjoying that Illinois is leaning into the embarrassment and the incompetence. Usually in the internet age, we will just mock something mercilessly and nobody embraces it. But they are promoting a T-shirt for charity because of this ceremony. What happened here? Do we have details on how it is that this happens?
Yes, they were raising this banner before an Illinois basketball game this weekend, and when they unveiled it, realized, oopsies, we hung it upside down. And everyone was really sad, and now, like you said, they've leaned into it. So happy ending, I suppose, but genuinely very funny to see.
Do we have how much video, how much audio do we have on embarrassed parties
We
talking?
have the athletic director from Illinois talking about it here.
Regrettable situation at halftime with the jersey around Terrence's celebration. I just wanted to address that briefly before Brad came up and talked about the game. Obviously, really regrettable moment. It's a shame that it happened that way. Of course, I didn't hang the jersey, but I'm ultimately responsible for everything that happens in this building, and ultimately that means that was on me tonight. We need to make sure that we understand that in life mistakes happen, but there are also certain moments where mistakes can't happen. And tonight we stole that moment from Terrence, and that's on us and something that we have apologized to him for, apologized to his mom. I want to make sure that we apologize to our fans and everybody who was excited to be a part of this experience tonight.
That's not leaning into it. That's not yet.
No, this
leaning
was
into
before
it.
they leaned into it. But I was going to ask you, Dan, is it an apology if you say, obviously, I didn't raise the banner, but it's my fault? Like, he's throwing someone under the bus there, and they know who they are.
That someone's been fired.
It's a good apology.
Yeah, it's a terrible apology. One of the worst apologies, Jessica.
It's terrible.
Horrible.
It's terrible.
It's the fakest leadership that I've ever seen. It's in that category. It's you know, a leader takes responsibility for all, even if you're not responsible at all. So just want everyone to know that it was not my fault, but I am the leader.
As if anyone thought the athletic director
come
was
on,
the
like,
one who's like
we thought you hung it up.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Some things don't need to be said, Mike. Come on. You
I
can't.
like Dan asking, how did this happen? Well, the hooks to hang it up. Wrong side.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how to answer that. Thank you for having
Behind, it all looks the same.
I feel like we're glossing over the really funny part of this story. Terrence Shannon was on that team last March. Like, why are we retiring his jersey
he
already?
He also played at Illinois for 2 seasons because he transferred from Texas Tech. I even saw an interview where he was like, "I'm surprised they're like, but like that's cool." I mean, maybe
what are they doing?
Maybe this is all a marketing ploy. Maybe it is the whole.
Be a great one.
Any publicity is. There's no other way we would have talked about this story unless they hung it up upside down.
No, we talk about Illinois basketball all the time on this show. It's like one of our main beats. I don't. You're not.
We
here.
get complaints all the time.
I'm not here.
Too much fighting
really,
Illini.
Not even just the
Flooded.
Illini. Men's college hoops. I mean, we spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I had to Google the years he was there.
Oh, you're so right about this. This is good for business. In
Great
fact,
for business.
I would do this as aggressively as possible, except for the part that we have to take sports so seriously that the athletic director has to be profoundly ashamed of a stupid ceremony because of how sacred we are about sports. Like, that guy's apology was terrible, but also profuse. Like, he was sorry. He was sorry that he was embarrassed. He might not have been sorry that he was responsible for or at fault. The distinction being made there, to me, though, is an interesting one when you talk about leadership. I feel that all the time around here, that things are all my responsibility, but wherever people are dissatisfied, I don't often find myself feeling at fault, but I'm responsible for it.
Yeah.
So it puts me at fault.
It does put you at fault, and that is the heavy as the crown. Right?
But that athletic director having to apologize, they just raised a bunch of money for charity because a ceremony silly in sports today. Let's celebrate someone who's been here as a transfer for 2 years, and let's do the jersey backward. That is something that would make great sketch comedy.
It would. It would make a funnier thing if that intern did it on purpose because they're like, this is stupid that we're hanging his jersey up. We should hang it up upside down to really show that athletic director.
Like a protest.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine you're
this.
Imagine you're Luther Head and you're sitting at home watching the game and you're thinking to yourself, how did that guy get his number retired?
You picked the perfect name. That is the perfect
His
name.
jersey has to be retired, though.
I don't know.
One would
Has to
assume.
be.
Let's go through it now. Since we like talking fighting Illini basketball so much, let's go through
Darren
the
Williams,
basketball Hall
Luther
of
Head.
Fame of Illinois basketball.
Kenny Battle. I mean,
I'm going to wink when I
They
recognize
had a D
the name.
Brown, right?
We probably would not. We have failed at March Madness. Billy, March Madness is again sneaking up on us, even though March is in the calendar every year. We have March Madness approaching, and
which means the sadness is also approaching.
Our tournament is approaching.
But it's presently embargoed, so don't ask Billy any questions.
I don't know anything about what we're doing, but
it's
we're
an
doing
effective
it.
embargo.
We're doing it soon. We're doing it.
Some may say.
March is coming up. Yep.
Yeah, and if people don't like it, I'll just get blamed for it again.
The reason I asked the question is I'm also wondering where Bet the House went. I'm also wondering where Gas Bag of the Week went. I'm also wondering where Boost Mobile line went on Hot Takes. I'm just sort of asking since I don't know. Roy's in the EP chair, and Roy has told me that we have Boost and we have a Hot Take machine, but it's the first I'm hearing of it. And there are a lot of plates spinning. So where are we in this?
Yes, the Boost Mobile Bonus Take from the weekend is presented by Boost Mobile.
Roy, let's start that. Let's start that again. Okay. Roy, hold on.
He wasn't expecting it.
I know, but I know.
I was looking up Illinois
He's still
men's
flustered
basketball.
from not being on PK's top 5
Kendall
good-looking
Gill.
brothers.
Kendall Gill, dreamy to look at.
Dreamy,
Should have been in
yes.
my top 5. Don't
Yes.
even know what you're talking about.
All right. The Boost Mobile Bonus Take from the weekend is presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country. 305-486-GOTZ is the number, Dan.
Thank you, Roy. But the reason that I went to it and you weren't prepared for it is because you told me to go to it. You asked me to go to the Boost, and I was the first time hearing that we were doing that today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It doesn't disappoint, Dan. It's great this
All right,
week.
disappoint me.
Hi, this is Alex from South Dakota, and I'm just here to say that Bono would not be anybody without his sunglasses, okay? At best, I think he would be Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah, I think Roger Goodell
should have to tackle Derrick Henry to get his full salary. If he doesn't, then he should only get 25%.
Charlie Bucket was the wrong pick to run the chocolate factory. Charlie Bucket was this poor little he was like this pure of heart little child, and he was picked because he was the most pure and decent and kind and whatever. That's not what it takes to run a chocolate factory. The right kid to run that chocolate factory was Augustus Gloop. He was not pure of heart, he was clogged of heart. And he would have made the greatest chocolate you ever had in your entire friggin' life.
I'll make a monopoly, can't refuse. Today on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Hey, buddy, it's Rob on the mobile. My hottest, boldest take that I got is best of 7 series. I got John Wick over Ethan Hunt. I actually got John Wick in 6.
Hey, this is Nolan from Louisiana, long time, first time. My hottest take is that a good hot dog is better than a good hamburger, but a bad hamburger is better than a bad hot dog. I'll hang up the list.
Hey, this is Rich from Chicago. Long time, first time, long time. Just want to say my take is this. If you're in a sauna and you're exercising or doing calisthenics while in the sauna, pretty much a giant douche.
Here's my limited fake of Coach Mike Gundy. Come after I'm a man. I'm 40.
The Cowboys are going to take on the big three. Oh, scratch that.